What's up, Wapham crew? Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. It is Saturday, October 24th, Sunday, October 25th, for those of you across the pond and beyond. Welcome to We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. I'm so glad you guys can join us this evening. I'm your host, TessaTNT, and I hope you guys had an awesome week and a rocking beginning to your weekend. You are right now listening to us on one of our many outlets, which is Breaker.com. You can also find us on Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iTunes, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Tumblr, YouTube, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, Deezer, as well as Podcast Addict. So tonight, our guest, Jim Kelly, that was supposed to be on, and it was basically Living with the Paranormal was the name of the show, but he was is a paranormal photographer, but he had a car accident this afternoon, so he won't be able to join us. Hopefully, sometime in November, we can rebook and have him on the show, because I was really looking forward to hearing his stories and how he gets all of these pictures. I know back in the day, like the early 1900s, I believe, when they started getting into the paranormal as far as photography and such, and the way they would do seances, which were fake, cued on air things or whatnot, and cotton coming out of people's mouths and like, look at this, ectoplasm coming out. But yeah, I was so stoked to have him. I'm sending love and light, healing energy, and thoughts and prayers to him. Like I said, the hospital's going to keep him for a couple days, and hopefully everything will be all right. Right now on the line, we have Mr. Jim Morris. Hey, Jim, how's it going?
I'm fine, darling. How are you? I hope you and the family are all well.
We're doing pretty good. It's been different this year as far as we don't have them in public school due to Corona, and supposedly 80% of the kids are going back, but my oldest in the house, not my eldest, but the oldest in the house, she has a compromised immune system, so sending the littles to school and having them bring something back from the petri dish, I'm just not willing to do. And my husband called because he said, I'm going to put him in homeschool, and this was during the month or back in school, this was during the month I was away, and I was like, no, that's all I had to say was, no, you're not. And he had called the school to check to see what was going on, and they already had 2 cases that week, which, who knows how many other kids got it after that.
Yeah, I know. That's the same thing here in the UK. Wales, they put a total lockdown on all supermarkets where you're only allowed to buy so many items. And about 350 people turned up at one supermarket, wherever, and they ripped all the plastic covers off. And of course, the management sent for the police. 2 police officers turned up to face about 350 people. And this idiot reporter said to the police officers, what are you going to do about this? And of course, they just looked at me as if it's stupid. They're making this virus out to be worse than it really is. Of course, people are dying from it, but the people that are dying from it already have underlying health injury. And these, you would, if you had influenza at my age, at 72 and older, that can kill you. Of course it can. But to infer that anybody at all can actually spread this virus, I believe is false. And these people simply be turning up and saying, excuse me, that ain't COVID-19, that's a smoker.
He's got the motherfucking Rona. I'm just kidding.
They're saying, oh, we don't exist. And it's going to get worse here in the UK as it goes on. You're going to see more people saying, no, we're not having this. It's already started. But if you have an underlying health problem, yeah, okay, fine. Wear a mask. If it gives any protection, which the Centre for Disease Control in Atlanta says it won't. But anyway, if it's going to satisfy your peace of mind, then wear one.
Yeah.
But it's getting worse, and it's going to get worse all over the whole. People are going to say, well, wait a minute now. This is a virus that we need a vaccine for, that you can kill by washing your hands with soap and water. So why do we need a vaccine for something that's so easily killed? And even a vaccine, to develop a vaccine, I've checked out between take 5 and 10 years to actually develop a vaccine to fight a specific virus.
Or antibodies, yeah.
Yeah, but vaccines, Tessa, only kill bacterial infections. They've got no effect at all upon a virus. And that's according to the CDC. So you're sitting, you're getting all this information, you're sitting there saying, well, what am I supposed to believe here? Do I go by what the government is saying, the Scottish government or Welsh or whatever, or to go with the CDC when they're saying, look, forget about a face mask, it ain't going to help you. It didn't save anybody in 1347 when the Black Death hit Europe and took out, they reckon, 200 million people in the world at that time. A population they estimate to be 500 million in 1347. It takes out 200 million. And face masks and coverings didn't do any good. So you're saying, you're looking at all of this and you're saying, somewhere there is something that isn't right about this. All we want to do is for the governments, our governments, come out and say, look, this is what's happening. Truthfully, this is what, as far as we know. But I don't believe they're telling us the whole truth, Tessa. I know we know that it'll affect people with immune deficiencies. They've got underlying health issues, whether it's their heart or lungs. Yeah, that's fine. Accept that. But at the same time, they're not actually giving us a whole picture. And I know I don't want to ramble on, but there's something that just isn't right about the whole thing, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And, I'm not eating everything hook, line, and sinker, but I'm going to use my common sense and do things that I feel like can protect me. And immediately I bought a couple N95. One is like a welding mask that captures everything, which they wouldn't let me wear on the plane because it allows my air to get out, but nobody's to get in. And then I also bought like a 10 pack of the cotton ones with the filter or the breather on the front for the kids. Like there's so many teenagers that come around my house because of my 16-year-old that I want them all to be protected and whatnot. But
I have a question.
yes.
Yeah, I have a question. There are hundreds of thousands of people dying because of this virus, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Last time I checked. And apparently there's this mask, wear a mask, wash your hands, wear a mask thing, right? I feel I really don't need to wear a mask, okay? But I think it's out of respect for other people that might be, okay, in situations where that they might be susceptible,
Yeah.
right, to infection, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So out of respect, I'll do that, right? But still, there's hundreds of thousands of people dying of this corona.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just want to go down to the bar and have order me a Corona with a lime on top. Like, give me a
Well, a
Corona.
lot of bars have actually, opened up decks and stuff to where you can still go to the bar. The one down here, the Billy Goat Saloon in Gym Village, they've always had this really nice back deck. Not always a little tiny one, but then they made it larger. But now they have a little food trailer out front too for, after you eat a while, you get the drunk munchies and you go out there and get something to eat. And So people are kind of getting back into the groove. Not me, like I'm staying home unless I have to go get food or whatnot, which I don't mind. I'm a nice homebody, but it's been crazy, up and
No, it is.
down. We're back
No,
on
it
an
is.
upslope.
No, it is. We're going a second wave in Toronto. I live in Toronto, and they're proposing outdoor patios, which like few and far between if you can afford it. And they're doing outdoor winter patios now. Now I'm thinking in my brain. I'm thinking, Dennis, what is this? It's an outdoor patio in the middle of the winter. You're within plastic and tarp and heaters and that seems like it's indoor eating. You're dining at like minus 30 degrees Celsius. Okay, it's windy outside. Oh yeah, sorry. This is funny. I apologize. Was it Todd? Sorry. Um, yeah, they give free thermal blankets out now. If you're gonna go eat outside at one of their outdoor patios, they give you a thermal blanket for free. Oh,
Well, that's
thanks.
nice.
Yeah, it is nice because business owners want to stay open.
Well,
Their
and generally,
businesses.
like in the winter when you have those outside areas. Sorry, the hounds are barking again. But they have those little heaters out there for
Mm-hmm,
open
mm-hmm.
spaces to kind of keep you warm. But
Terriers.
that's cool. They throw in those blankets for you.
Yeah, I know, right? Like you
And
never thought.
and I just want to say, in case anybody doesn't know, I was going to announce this after I had to say what I had to say last time. But Dennis Dyke is here. And where are you again? You're in Canada. I don't know
Yeah,
what it's at.
Toronto.
Toronto.
By the CN Tower and Niagara Falls in between there. Yeah. Yeah.
So are
So
you guys
Corona.
having a influx as well? Like ours supposedly went
Yes.
down, then due to tourism or whatnot, it went back up. And even when I go out to the store today, I always wear my mask. But then there's people that go in. There was a couple earlier that didn't have them on. Sometimes the workers don't have them on. It's just up to the
Mm-hmm.
person. Even though it says "Welcome to Bayfield," all we ask is that you wear a mask. um,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the problem, Tessa. It's here. They're
Mm-hmm.
definitely within their rights. If you don't wear a mask, he won't serve you, and that's the way it should be because that's the law. But you say to yourself, well, wait a minute. The CDC are saying that a mask won't protect you and it won't protect anybody else. Who's making the most money out of this? Now, if this virus is so deadly as they're making out, why isn't there hazardous materials bins outside every shop, outside every supermarket, railway station, whatever, where you can put your possibly contaminated mask into? They're not. The streets of London are littered with masks. They've got people, mostly Europeans, going about with the grabbers, the stick, grabber stick, picking up these masks and picking. Why aren't the bins there in the first place if it was so bad? It's
right?
not. All of this is a money making exercise.
Yeah, you know what? If you want to do jokes on this, it's like you wait outside of a building of a shopping mall, and somebody tears their mask off and throws it on the ground or the garbage bin. Before you go in, you pick it up off the ground, you stick it on your face. All right, there you go, done deal.
That's kind of like the guy
I know.
running around checking the ashtrays and taking the partially smoked
God.
cigarettes out of them. Uh,
Yeah.
luck of the draw there, buddy. Who knows? You might get lip herpes. You might get something else going on.
Let
The
her go.
motherfucking Rona. But here, when you go to Walmart, and I went down to City Hall, and they had these really nice, very thick cloth ones that were just sitting there and this thing.
Really?
But at Walmart, when you go in, they got hand sanitizer, they got sanitizer wipes, and they also have masks that you can take that they're not charging for. My husband got one the other day, and he won't wear it because the bands look kind of ruffly, and he's like, it looks like a garter for your face. I'm not wearing this.
Well, first of all, I take a handful if they're free. I take a handful just for giggles and whatever's, poops and giggles. But yeah, people call it conformity. See, there's big anti-mask activism stuff, right, going around everywhere, right? And I sit back and I laugh and I laugh, where that Trump, your president, is having conventions with thousands of people with no masks. Hey, let's have a party, man.
Well,
Let's
he
just
ended up
spread.
contracting the coronavirus, and then he took
I
two
know.
experimental drugs, one on top of the other, to
Yeah,
counteract it, and
yeah,
it appears that it worked pretty good.
yeah. He's
I
Superman now.
I don't think he was that hot air like he generally would be, but I didn't see him struggling at all, really. Like, he seemed like he was back up and good to go. So, being that our leader and president took these different experimental drugs, is it now going to be available to us? I know the one
No.
for sure was, but not this one. Like, he's a higher power, he's got more rights than people that are dealing with this.
Yes.
And Jim was
Yes.
saying earlier it's people that have these underlying conditions, and it's not all. One was a guy that went to RN school and then got put on the front lines, got the coronavirus, felt better, went back to work, and all of a sudden he's paralyzed from the neck down.
Oh,
There's been kids in Austin, Texas, and other places that have no underlying health issues. They contract it and die. I think it's just the luck of the draw, because I
yeah.
think it's mutated already, and there's different strains that are stronger than
Yeah.
other strains. And so as it moves along, it depends on which one you get.
Yeah, it's really weird with this because again, humans have never experienced a pandemic of this nature, really. And yeah, it's trial and error. That's what we're going through. But a lot of people are going to die, sure. And I find a lot of it's got to do with building the immune system, right? Like either you got it, you don't. And how are you going to go through it? Come out on top of it, or you don't. Oh well, like nobody's been through this before, so what are you gonna say, right? Like,
Well, like Jim was saying, this is the government doing certain things, and I think there is a lot of things they're not telling us, and a lot of things that are going on that we're not privy to. But in certain places, it's worse than others. Like, Jim has been banned from using Facebook, and then he went through another account and was using Facebook, got banned again. Jim, can you tell us what's going on over there in the UK or Scotland, as far as your internet and blocking you from different things?
Yeah, I've absolutely no idea, Tessa. I got in touch with our local member for the Scottish Parliament, and he got in touch with British Telecom and said, "What's going on here? This man is trying to sign up with you on the 23rd of August. Now we're coming to the 2nd of October, and you still haven't given me an answer." Eventually, they did, very humble and apologetic. The whole thing is, I think, Tessa, they do not want you to post anything that is contradictory to what the governments are coming out with. As I said before, there's people here, there's one lady confronted her doctor and said, "Sir, you have said that my father died of COVID-19, and you know that he died of a heart attack. So why have you put COVID-19 on his certificate of death? That's a test. That is a criminal offence in Britain, or at least it used to be." And the doctor responded by saying, "I was told to do this." So there's an awful lot here. I know Dennis out there in Canada. It's the same thing.
Yeah, and I've heard people say that it's because they're getting paid a certain amount of money in order to say that. And for me, it's
Yeah.
kind of like the AIDS virus. Okay, so you don't really die from the AIDS virus, you die from something else, complications of AIDS, because it
Yeah, no,
does.
but they put it on. Yeah, okay, right. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I want to hear what you had to say.
No, but like Jim was saying, that they just put the COVID tag on it, and then the hospitals get that extra little bit of cash, right? Even
Yeah.
though, it's really disappointing and really, disconcerting, really.
Well, what's
To
got
see.
me is that before it even came over here, and it was sweeping Italy, and I'm watching all these caskets being loaded and unloaded into these moving trucks to different locations to get their last rites, so on and so forth, and then they're burying these people, and then it's just a repeated thing, and everything's locked down, people can't have birthdays, so on and so forth. But so many people did die from it. What is kind of strange is in China, where this originally broke out, people aren't dying from it. And I watched this thing the other day that said it's because they drink hot liquids so many times per day, which I do that too. They also use like the neti pot or put their face over a hot steaming a pot of water to clear out the sinuses and such. And if you continue to do these things, it will kill the virus, supposedly. And that's why they're not dying from it. But I mean, could be something else. Maybe they have
No, it's yeah.
some sort of vaccine going on over there, because that's where they first released it. You know, the lab is here 3 blocks away from the Wuhan market.
Okay, I gotta ask you a question then, Tessa. You just mentioned that's when they released it. Do you believe the Chinese government released it from their labs?
Yep.
I think so. Like I'm saying, the lab is only 3 blocks away from the market.
Yeah.
All right, no. This is a question. You know, this is a conspiracy thing that it's been going around the block for like the last 9 months, 8 months.
Since this all started,
since the
yeah.
Bat. Yeah, since the bat.
Which it wasn't a bat.
What? It's a bat.
No,
it's a
not.
bat. Yeah, man.
Let Jim
It's
talk.
a mountain hiker.
Let Jim talk. Come on.
Go.
Absolute nonsense. It was a manufactured viral weapon instigated by the CIA. Now, you'll find him, hopefully still, Dr. Rashid Buttar, former scientific advisor, United States Army Medical Corps, and he was asked to participate in this experiment, and he refused, as did many other scientists of integrity. No. Why do you want to make a harmless virus into a bioweapon? And, you know, he went out for a minute. That's now, and here in Scotland, if you're over 65 years of age, you can get a free flu vaccination. Oh, great stuff. Where was it made? Take a while.
Yeah, I gotta ask you this
In
question.
China? Was it China?
Yeah, no. Like you mentioned, if it gets you straight, Jim, is that the Americans introduced it, offered it to the Chinese. The Chinese used it, but it wasn't introduced. Like, was it accidentally released, or was it like, I know it's biochemical?
It was intentionally released, but it got out of hand, and it wasn't just the Chinese. There were so many people from different countries, especially the United States, that were investors in this. And it's not just the Chinese, that's just where it was, in a lab. But different people were known to go there and check it out and see what is my investment producing. There's so many different corona and COVID viruses, but this one seems to be the worst.
Let me answer, Dennis. Right. The CIA contacted, when Dr. Rashid and his colleagues refused, the CIA contacted the Wuhan labs, the People's Republic of China, and asked for their assistance. And they sent a lady scientist called Dr. Shia, S-H-I-A. And she appeared and turned up at the University of North Carolina, and she gave a lecture, and she was telling them how to go about manufacturing a biological weapon. Somehow, this thing escapes from the labs. Now, the World Health Organization in 2013 and 2015 sent groups in to survey the security and of the labs and how health infection conditions were met, and they said it was a disaster waiting to happen. because the security was poor, the health and safety was almost non-existent, and suddenly this thing appears out of the blue. Now, where it was uh, deliberately released by anybody, I don't know. Nobody knows. But one knows we do know is it appeared out of nowhere, and then suddenly everybody's got it. The whole world goes into lockdown because of a man in charge of the World Health Organization who, by his own admission, covered up 3 outbreaks of cholera in Ethiopia when he was in charge of its health system. Basically, he lied. So this guy turns up and he says it's a pandemic. When it isn't a pandemic, there's nothing. And that's the way that's been going on now. And I can't understand why none of the governments even said the prime ministers said to us, question this man's integrity. What is he saying? He's the leader of the World Health Organization. Is what he's saying is true. And he's already gone on record to being a liar because he covered up 3 outbreaks of cholera. And now he's telling us that this thing is deadly. It's like the Black Death. No, there's a hidden agenda here. I hate conspiracy theorists.
Yeah. I hate to admit it because I hate to give it power, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah, it is what it is. You know what? This way I love living the life the way I live. It is what it is. It's like politics. I don't do it. All right. Yeah, I got to just deal with what's on my plate. All right, that's on my plate. Crap. Okay, whatever it is. But you know what? My grandparents never had to deal with the pandemic. You know what? My children's children will not have to deal with this pandemic. But I tell you one thing, it's going to be different. But you know what? It's really interesting where that we are in this position, like all of these people that, what is it? What are we at? 4.5 billion humans now?
Way too many.
Yeah, way too many. Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry, I got an offshoot on this. Most humans must die. All right?
Yeah.
I just gotta
Hey, I'm going to protest that.
No. Most humans must just go to sleep and not wake up no more. That's all.
Well, my train just derailed.
I know, you can't come back. Can't come back with that one, Tessa?
Well, I know you were saying, like, this is the worst thing we've dealt with as humans, but we had the Spanish influenza, we had the Black Plague, we had so many different crazy things going on. That may be what it is for you now because that was a long time ago, but those were really, really huge, and people keep talking about, well, this is just like the flu, and if you compare it to last year's flu, it's pretty proper as far as last year's flu took more numbers than years previous. It was just out of control. Every sort of vaccine or whatever you try to take for it didn't work because, another mutation or whatnot that's happened. But it is pretty similar. And, like my husband and other people said, this is not the first corona or COVID. This is 19. Why is it even COVID-19? Because it was, I don't know, put out at that time. Maybe they put it out
all wrapped up all in one.
Yeah, they usually name it after the year. So COVID-19, that would be 2019 instead of 2020. So what's really going on? So there's so many different things that have happened that make you question. And it's healthy to do that, especially with our governments.
Yes.
Not just the American government, but the Canadian, which is also, aren't you guys, you have your prime minister, but you guys are basically under the power of the monarchy, as is Jim, as are so many other people, and they don't want us to know stuff. They want to keep us ignorant, and it's just like parents. We're not going to tell you everything because you don't need to know everything. Well, we actually do, but this is another way to tear us apart, I think.
I taught my kids everything I know. I taught them things that all conspiracies and everything. I said everything to them. And you know what? They're very aware of what's going on. See, some people just walk around blind. like
Mhm.
sheeples and lemmings, right?
It's bad.
And his that's funny. And yeah, this is what it is. Deal with it. It's not going to go away. Don't complain. Don't bitch. I was like, really? It's not going away. And there's two. Okay, there's one thing, Tessa. There's only one person that'll really listen to. That's the judge. Okay, if a judge tells me something to do, I'll do it. All right. Other than that, don't tell me nothing. Okay. I just use my discretion and common sense. And this is crazy times, Jim. This is crazy times.
Yeah, I know. It's
Right.
as I said before, if it's so bad, where are the receptacle bins outside every shop, gas station, every supermarket?
Crazy.
Yeah, I know. If it's so bad, they're not telling us the whole truth. There's something else.
Of course not.
I hate conspiracy theories, same as yourself, Dennis. But there's something else here. What it is, if we ever going to find out, we'll only find out when it's too late.
Right.
Oh yeah, when it's 50 years later.
Hindsight's 2020.
When a grandchildren in 2050, they'll find out eventually. They'll come out.
Yeah.
Look at all those stupid 2020 humans. Going with that's the government played. Sorry, I'll be quiet now.
Yeah.
Well, and as far as the COVID goes, there's so many other things that have been happening. Black Lives Matter. The taking over of Seattle.
Yeah.
There's so many different things that have been happening. Even the Republicans and Democrats, like there's never been a time since Vietnam that I can recall us being so separate. Yeah. And
I'm gonna rant. Sorry.
It seems like this is another thing to keep us separate because divided, they can conquer us. If we just stuck together and didn't listen to their bullshit, I think we'd be all right.
100%. No, I'm gonna rant just for a moment. Where the Black Lives Matter thing, they found the perfect opportunity to jump in, during this pandemic, and then you got Antifa, you got all these groups, everybody rioting, crashing, destroying. Civil war is coming. Okay, I didn't say that, but I just see it, and yeah. You invited me, Tessa. And I did 2 pages of notes. All right, here are my notes. I was going to talk about a few things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to talk about a few
Well, I know you said the other day you'd like to come on during a call-in, and I'm like, okay, so I think we have another call-in coming this next month, but I haven't seen the schedule. And then our like I said, our guest got in a car accident this afternoon, and they want to. Yeah, they want to hold them for a couple days. Hopefully everything works out. Hopefully they're being honest about the situation. I always have that trust issue in the back of my head. Like, I hope they're being honest, because if they're not, like, karma's a bitch, and you lie about certain stuff, like my grandpa died or something. That's one thing, but I don't think that's what it is. I don't know. I think things just work out weirdly, especially when it comes to me and this show and doing other things. But I'm glad you made notes. That's pretty cool, because I don't do that anymore. Just fly by the seat of my pants.
Yeah, I know you're fly by. Well, yeah. On a wire. Bird on a wire. But Jim's not around. And to be more to change things up, if you don't mind, because COVID is really depressing. Like, I really don't like talking about that shit, right?
Yeah.
Because it is what it is, right? I wanted to talk to you about a few things that is being brought up to me lately. Okay, I'll do this real fast. All right.
Okay, I'll try to.
This is all. Try to follow.
I'll try to absorb it all.
All right. Human behavior, interactions, what causes chaos and friction, flow and helping, not anger and resent. Why? Okay. Creating flowing energy, human consciousness collection, dark energy effects. Okay, that was the first page. It's like, what's the matter with humans? God's sake, man.
There's a
Sorry.
lot of us that I feel are in trouble, yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. Oh well. But yeah. Okay, I gotta ask you a question. Um. Yeah, forgiveness. Do you forgive people?
Yeah, and it
I know. Yeah, I
it
know you
took
do.
me a
So.
while to learn it, but as a kid I was able to go to this group therapy thing for being molested and other things that had happened in my life. And I was so grateful that I got to do that because it helped me to work through a lot of things like, you feel like it's your fault and other random things that go along with it, but forgiveness is one of the key things to healing
Right.
yourself. And it's not that you're forgiving for that person, you're forgiving for yourself, because once you do that, there's really such a weight lifted off of you. But I know it can be very, very hard.
It's
And
Yeah.
hard to do,
yeah.
Tessa. Hard
Hmm.
to think.
No, it's hard. See, the way I look at
So hard.
forgiveness, yeah, sorry to hear. Okay, really. Um, but forgiveness, yeah. I forgive people for their actions, for what they've become, because they weren't born that way, right? They were born innocent. They were born without. They were just being how do you call it?
You're born pure and without sin.
Programmed. Right. You're being programmed, basically. Like, okay, I wrote it here. Oh God, where did it go? Yeah, it's just your environment, conditional environment that you grew up in. And if you tell me, okay, it goes like this. Okay, I'll make this quick. If you're at a grocery store and the cashier gives you the wrong change, and you say "fuck you, bitch," sorry, and that's nasty, right? But if you say, I think you made a mistake here, ma'am. You might want to retract that. See, there's a difference there.
Well, yeah, and
So I
recently
could.
I was like, here, you gave me an extra dollar. What? Yeah,
Mm,
look, you gave me an extra dollar. They're like, wow, thanks for being so honest. I would have had to pay for that. And I'm like, I couldn't take it and feel good about it. Like, I would have felt guilty about that $1, that 100
I
pennies.
know, but you see, universe sees all this, right? The universe loves you, Tessa. Okay, because I got friends, okay, and they love you. So yeah, you know, don't don't be an asshole when somebody cuts you off. Just don't give them the finger. Just wave and say, "All right, buddy, have a good day, man."
My sister gives the nod of shame. Not
The
of
nod
shame,
of shame.
sir. Not of shame.
That is too funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like
Well,
that's
Jim
what I
had
want to talk
something to.
about. It's like,
Yeah, Jim had
okay,
something to
what's up,
say
Jim?
right before that.
Yeah,
I
Jim.
was just saying, for us, we can deal with this, but you're trying to pass information on to those who's going to become behind us before we're long gone. And it's difficult simply because of social media, um, peer pressure or whatever. No, this is what it is, and this is what it is. You're saying to yourself, surely somebody's going to wake up and say, look, this is what's happened. You know, once we were all serfs and they didn't like that. And now, because of this COVID-19, now we're all serfs again. Tessa, we're going to be in another lockdown over the UK on the up. Well, not now, but on the up to Christmas and the New Year. Why?
Well,
Because
that's
people get together and they talk. Tessa, you've got no idea what the hell it is that we've going on here. And Dennis, Jim, it's same here, Jim. That's why they don't want that. They don't want us. They want to keep us apart,
mm-hmm.
even on the internet. That's what they want.
Hey,
Keep us.
Jim. Do you remember before the internet when if you wanted to talk, if I wanted to talk to you, I had to phone you on a landline,
Yeah.
curlicue
Mm.
phone, yeah, the curlicue phone, and say, "Hey, Jim, I want to meet you down at the plaza." All right, and we'll just hang out. You don't get that. It's instant. I could talk to dudes, Australia, Tessa could talk to people all over the world, man.
Yeah.
I know, it's
get that.
awesome.
I know, it's craziness.
I just
Yeah,
caught
but
on to that a couple years ago, and I'm so excited about it.
What?
Yeah. The curly Q phone thing, you remember the freaking knot it'd always make on its own? Like, how the hell does it even fucking do that?
Hey,
yeah, yeah. Oh, dearie me, I've had a few of those curly phones. Dearie me, you spend more time trying to untangle it than you are on the phone, you know. Yeah, but the whole thing is, why is it so?
but yeah, see, but our binds were tighter back then. Like as friends, like
Yeah,
our acquaintances, they're tight.
Our
Tight.
neighborhoods were tighter because we had a party line, okay? You want to argue about
Yeah,
that?
I know. It rings 3 times. Ring, ring,
Oh,
ring.
damn
Okay,
it.
that's us.
Gracie's on the phone again. I guess I'll have to wait
All
another
right.
30 minutes to make a phone call.
No, Mom, let's listen to Gracie's talk to his
Yeah.
boyfriend. She's
And I
having
said,
an affair. Yeah, I know. We used to have party lines. That was funny as fuck. Anyway, I'm sorry to use that word.
it's okay. I marked the show explicit because we're all adults here, and cussing is explicit. It's not, we're not having sex or nothing, but we have adult speech. Some people consider it ignorant, but actually, cussing is a form of being a genius.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know what? Okay, I'll say this then. The word fuck is I love that word fuck. All
It's
right,
been
my
around
parents.
forever.
I know my parents don't like when I say it, but it's a verb. It's it's everything. You can stick that word anywhere and make instead of a paragraph you got to say, you can fit it in like 3 words or 4 words with just drop that f bomb. And it's like, yeah, that's where I'm going. Okay, you want me to go further with that?
No.
I've been cussing like a sailor since I was 5, 6 years old. Like, nature and nurture, it's my nature. I was born this way. I don't know. Hey, Jim, what were you gonna say?
In the UK, you do not drop the C bomb.
Oh,
It
Okay,
used to
the
be a
cut,
good word.
cut.
it's an Anglo-Saxon word, but it's still a bomb.
It
And
used
you,
to mean like good friend or something like that, and then they turned it into something really dirty. It used to be a term of endearment, but now it's something really bad that you don't
No,
say.
we're adults here. You're talking about the word cunt, right? The C.
Yeah,
C.
some people say she's a real see you next Thursday because they don't want to say it bluntly. But yeah, that word, that used to be a term of endearment back in the day. But what are you saying again about it, Jim?
no, it's not here in the UK. You don't do that. You don't put that in, or you could end up being banned. So
Uh-oh.
yeah,
That's how it is here too these days. But back like 100, 200 years ago, it was a good word.
Normal.
yeah,
It's
Well, you know what?
weird.
it's an ancient Anglo-Saxon word, the same as fuck.
Yeah.
That's where they come
Fuck.
from. But it's
Fuck.
not acceptable in modern society to put them in, use them in any sort of into. Oh
Okay,
dear.
here's a funny one for you, Jim. Tessa. Okay. Um, my ex-wife and I used to go back and forth at it with words, and she said, "Don't call me the C word. Call me the T word." I said, "What?" The twat. I said, "What?"
Yeah. Another
I
ancient,
hate that word more than the C
No,
word.
that's worse. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate the T word more than the C word. What the hell's wrong with that lady?
Yeah.
What,
I know.
Jim?
She said, "Call me twat instead." Like, what the fuck?
Twat?
another ancient Anglo-Saxon word. Then
What?
yeah, it is another ancient. I had a friend of mine. We gave him a lift, and the van were going over to Stornoway, and they come up from England. These people, good people, and our mother said, blah 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 blah, and our daughter said, "What are you talking about, you daft twat?" But that's a talk there. Yeah, and that's the way it is here. But you can't put that online. Oh, bingo. Oh, you're banned, you're blocked, or whatever.
Yeah, I posted
Dating.
that. I posted that picture of Putin after he took the vaccine and he grew some tikas, and it stayed on there for about 3 or 4 days, and then somebody finally got wise to it and reported me for it. But my daughter Kinsey reports all these like very graphic pictures, but they're in an artistic manner. And I haven't seen not one of them blocked so far, but there's titties and all kinds of other things in there, and she keeps going. Maybe it's her friends. Maybe I need to check my friends list.
That's their eldest daughter.
Yes, that's my 20-year-old. She'll be 21 this next month.
Wow.
Now you're going to have to get a party for her toots.
I know. Yeah, I mean, what are we going to do during COVID? I think we should bar hop people's houses. I don't know.
Yeah. You're going to be 21. Yes. You're going to do that. There'll be a huge party. That's the thing about having kids, you know. You've got to have parties for them, birthdays, Christmas, and so on. Yeah, excellent.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. No, have a good one. Have a Halloween.
Yeah, kids are good and everything. It's best when they do have that move out party, right?
She left the same week she was turning 18. She's like, I'm going over to my boyfriend's house, and then she never came back. I was 15, almost 16 when I moved out. Nova, she's 16. She's still here, but she's always like, I wish I had my own place. And I'm like, I fully understand. You know, having your own space, your own place.
For sure, man. And you love this. You love the extra like time that you have that you don't have to be watching over. She's over somewhere else, man. Yeah. That's all I gotta say. I got 2 kids too.
You always say that, Tessa. You know, I want my own place. Fine. Now you go and get yourself one, you know. And then they've got their own washing.
Oh, yeah, man.
You got to do your own cooking. You got to take out all your own garbage bins. You've got to settle all your bins all yourself. And then
all your bills.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Jim. That's awesome. Because my kids learned at a very young age what it was to pay bills. Right? And okay, I'll stop it short from there. But yeah, they're doing very well. Yeah, so it's nice to have them grown up and get out of your house. It's like, give me my time now.
Yeah, so I was good at 2 kids, and then all of a sudden I became pregnant with my third, and I like cried for a week. I was like, oh god, like now I have to start all over. Like, had I not started all over, this would be legally over in 2 years, but now I have another 10 years. Another 10 years before, another 10 in the future. It would be 2, but now I added 12. I almost said 10, but then I got to consider Lily. But she's so smart. Oh, God, she's reading at age 5, and she knows everything.
Nice.
100. She's so easy, and then Floyd's like, I'm thinking. You know, during homeschool, I'm like, quit thinking and just do it.
Yeah,
it's not that difficult.
You start throwing her algebra and trigonometry at her. All right.
I should send the 5-year-old to help the 16-year-old with her geometry and algebra.
Yeah, right. You know.
And she's the one. Yeah, and she's the one that had a past life, so it makes me wonder, like, none of my kids have started reading this early or have used this sort of terminology or language when they speak. And so perhaps the past life has something to do with it, especially she recalled it at a very early age and was so mature. And, oh my God, when she was in my tummy, I called her Boogaboo. And then I looked it up, and Boogaboo means a thing of great worry or discontent. And, oh my God, she scares the shit out of me. And here she is. Speak of the devil. Lily Boogalicious.
Say hi.
Hi, baby. Say hi.
Come here.
Hi.
Come here. Come on, go.
But yeah, you know what I used to do to my kids? I used to throw them atlases, encyclopedias, you know, anything. If they popped a word that came out of their mouth that they didn't know, I said, "Here, look it up, and I'll review it with you." Right? Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes, right.
Yeah.
What, Jim?
It has to be done. I mean, it's when you look at the way that the education system is going
it sucks.
Everywhere. I mean, it's gone everywhere. And I mean, it's gone to hell in Britain. I mean, it's you type in a question on Google, you know, which English do you want it
Yeah,
to be?
yeah, you got 12 different,
What the
15
hell on
different
about?
answers,
You know
whatever.
where I'm? Yeah, I'm here in Britain.
Uh,
It's going to be British English and all this stuff. It's you say to yourself, if you can't or refuse or are unwilling to educate the young, they're never going to realise anything. And looking back at history, that's the thing. They don't want young people to look back on. Look what happened back here. Look at what happened then. But look at what happened then and look at what's happening now. It's exactly the same thing. They don't
yep.
want that. They don't want that. They want our young people to remain ignorant. You guys are too young to remember 1968. And that was a year when the greatest revolution, bloodshed, without bloodshed, was students' revolution in Western Europe. The student rose up against all these, what we've got now. That was what they were fighting against back then. What we've got now, all these offensive restrictions on the freedom of speech, freedom of movement. I mean, I've got friends out there, Dennis, I've got friends out there in Moscow district. Moscow district is about the size of Britain. Because Valeria wanted to leave to go to another district, she had to have a special movement pass. This is something the Nazis introduced. You want to go somewhere else, you need to have special permission, and you've got to pay for it.
You know what?
It's going to happen here. We're in the Britain, UK. We're going to be under a total lockdown before Christmas. That's the way it's going. I know it's going to happen.
That's where it's gone here too. Like I said, we had a down
Yeah.
curve and now we have an upsweep, and they're saying due to people traveling, tourism, so on and so forth, and that's how the Navajo
Open
Nation
bars.
and other tribes have caught it, is due to tourism, because that's their big venue. They sell jewelry, they sell jerky, they sell other things, pistachios. Um, but yeah, there's so many different things that they're doing, and they're colluding with these tourists. So they're saying that's why there's an upsweep. But I think it's just something else going on, because tourist season
No,
was
you
over
know what
already.
it is. You know what it is. It's people walking around, jumping around. Yeah, again, going to bars, going to social events, yelling and spraying their stuff all over the place. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, guess what happens, right? That's why they don't have stadiums filled with fans, right? But they got stadiums packed with what do they call them? People that go to conventions for political reasons or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whatever is okay there.
Yeah, it's insane. And people are like, well, why do we have to wear masks? And people on riots and such don't have to. Well, that's their own fucking stupid decision. If you want to go out there and put yourself at risk, so be it. That is your free will. That's your free agency to put yourself at risk. But use your common sense and protect yourself however you can, whether you wear gloves or wear a mask or even wear a whole freaking gas mask. I don't care. What?
You can be asymptomatic or whatever it is, but you can spread shit like 10, 15, 20, 50 people, whatever, and you won't care, but they'll be sick after. Oh, yeah, sure, no problem with you. You know, like, it's like, really, I don't understand.
Well, and then we have Rachel in the chat room, and she's like blaming the upsweep in the UK to kids going back to school in the United States. Well, that's what's going on. Like, everybody's all good, then we're going back to school, and like I said, we weren't even a month into school. I'm in Phoenix because I flew out August 25th, because my grandpa was sick. Before I even made it there, he died. Then due to COVID, I had to wait a couple weeks for his funeral, and then after that, I was hauling 4 tons of dirt. Luckily, my wheelbarrow broke after 3.5 tons, because that last half ton I could not do. Like, I would have broken half, I swear to God. But I was gone for a month, and then I have to come back and do homeschool and play catch up, because nobody can freaking do what I do, I guess. But my husband was like, I'm going to put the kids back in school, and I didn't give any sort of reason. I said, no, you're not. And then right after that, he called the school, And then he called me back. He's like, hey, you're right. They already got 2 cases this last week, and who knows how many more they have. And I'm like, I feel kind of paranoid doing it. Even at my grandpa's funeral and getting together with people, I was away from people. I wasn't doing the group gathering thing, and I felt awkward like I generally do, but even more awkward because I'm trying to keep my distance and my space because I have kids that I have to worry about, and it's not just about me, you know?
That's about, Tessa. It's about fear against your family, against your loved ones, your babies, your children. That's what they're doing. What will you do if I come up there, come over to Colorado, and I'm going to come in there, and you're Lily and Lloyd. I'm going to come in there. What are you going to do? You're going to say, yeah, get past me first, dude. Here I am right now. Fear and terror is the lowest order. Terrifying people, not for themselves, but for their families. And that's what they've always been done. That's what they're working on. Why?
You know what? You know what's really upsetting, Jim? Is up here in Canada. I don't know how it's down there in the States and UK. Is people in long-term healthcare when their parents are dying, and they've died in long-term healthcare because of this. Their family can't even see them. Their own children can't even see them.
Outrageous.
It's very unfortunate.
And the sad thing too was the way that I don't know if it was China or Japan. One of those guys were sending us tests that were having false positives and such. So what do you do from there? It's more fear mongering, like you said, and fear is meant to control us. So there's a lot of outside entities, whether it's our politics or our COVID viruses, so on and so forth, that are causing more fear on top of fear that's already there.
Because we know that this virus can kill or affect people with underlying health issues. We know that. That's what they're playing. Where somebody is only 18 years old or 20 or whatever. Let me ask that, how many 20 or 30-year-olds or even 40-year-olds have died of this disease?
Many up here, here.
Yeah.
Yeah, here actually the lower numbers are higher than the older people. It's insane, but I think there's more of us than older people. But on that note, I hate to interrupt, but we do have to go to our first musical break. And this one we have Miss Tamara Bubble with Keep Panties, which it's a surprise. And we have Andones with Mr. Sailman. We have Tamara with Laundry, Mr. Roy Washington with Subliminal, and then Tamara Bubble again with Out of the Mud. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this musical break.
Yeah. Bubble on that. Yeah. Real cute. Underwear. To be honest, I don't really wear many. I don't even really rock panties. Let me be clear, I'm used to getting a few new big pair each year from my granny. Couple sexy ones that might come off, and I done had way too much. Any a drunk text go out. They come and eat the sweet juicy pie down there. I'ma go that route. But now, nigga, wrong song. I only need a couple of bars to turn you on. That's why I started mentioning that lingerie, but pull her to the studio with some long john. This verse about to take a turn for the worse, and all them cute panties gonna be long gone. Cause the hating niggas that I wrote it for, they ain't afraid of wordplay, that's why they wrote this for. So I'ma drive them wild. Thinking one day they might hit all about my boy shorts, G-strings, slutty thongs, even put them head up with pennies on the cover, so they wonder how that bubble tastes. You can stay mad, be miserable, old, predictable, maybe not even applicable, but yeah, you typical. Check your mans if it ain't you, cause way too many queens rocking shades, cause they eyes black and blue. Way too many dudes putting hands on the bras. That make you feel like a man. Miss Hannah, let her wake up vessel, yeah, you saw. Yo, look, it's way too many dudes only wanna spar. But ain't got no conversation, only wanna gossip when we talk. Why I keep seeing these grown dudes out in the broad daylight like some broad? Why I keep seeing these dudes letting these girls fighting on the stop to record? These little niggas online, the worst part, lame hoes got a squad. And all they do is dislike the females doing interviews with that nigga blog. I be like, come in, big boy. slip you into something real soft. Prefer the lace of satin or the silk, cause some pretty little bows, they gon' hang off your balls. Look at you, sitting pretty, yeah. You the type that rock them cute pennies, yeah. Come here, you're cute, yeah. Real cute, you hating on a female, cute, real cute. Why you mad we getting money? Maybe that's why you sag like them bunnies shout. Oh, by the way, cute pennies, bro, real cute. Grown man, big boss, taking shots from a penthouse love. Talking trash, she making big calls. Yep, then again, that's only till his phone got off. Come again, yeah, his phone got disconnected. But don't worry, he be back online hating in a second. Back at the crib, remember she paid her phone and the rent. Squash a nigga vegetable soft. Now he souped up in my mentions on some vegetable bro. Leaving comment at the comment, you that thirsty, drink vomit. I promise I ain't never seen nobody when had so much time to hate me. Be honest, is you mad at me? Or the fact that I'm grinding? It's a fact that I'm winning, son, I really be shining. Why you pressed on my diamond? You ready to swing on this little bitty girl, so don't tell me I'm lying. Way too many dudes putting hands on the bra. That make you feel like a man. Mishandling a weaker vessel, yeah, you stop. Yo, look, it's way too many dudes only wanna spar. But ain't got no conversation, only wanna gossip and recall. Why I keep seeing these grown dudes out in the broad daylight like some broad? Why I keep seeing these dudes letting these girls fighting only stopping to record? These little niggas online, the worst part, lame hoes got a squad. And all they do is dislike the females doing interviews with that nigga blood. I be like, come in, big boy, take off them drawers. I just came from shopping. Let me slip you into something real soft. Prefer the lace of satin or the silk, cause some pretty little bows, they gon' hang off your balls. Look at you, sitting pretty, yeah. You the type that rock them cute pennies, yeah. Come here, you're cute, yeah. Real cute, you hating on a female, cute, real cute. Why you mad we getting money? Maybe that's why you sag like them bunnies shout. Oh, by the way, cute pennies, bro, real cute.
Hello? I'm trying to call my baby, but it's poor reception, cause she ain't picking up. Hello? Hello? Listen, Mr. Operator. I've been up all day and I'm trying to dial my baby's number. See, it only rings straight to the machine. 617. Now I know something must be wrong with this cell phone, cause my baby knows she wouldn't hang up on me. So tell me what's going on. Now see, most of the time phone only ring twice. How you doing, boo? Cool, how's your date? Nice. Now she ain't picking up, plus a text her. Put it to your plane, she's the one to get next to. It's not just the way, it's all day with affection. I'm hoping this detection is poor reception. Straight to the machine, mean it's like clicking my call, get connected quick. I'm saying, hey, Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Why she ain't picking up, yo? I see the phone rings quite a few times before any answer. And I know she's home, well at least till 3. And I know she's home. Now I don't mean to be any bother operator, but could you just check and connect this call for me? Cause I know she's home. Now see, the first time I call, I'm like, maybe she working. And the second time I call, I'm like, little bit hurting. But the third time I call, I'm like, going berserk. And now half a day gone, can't get her on the horn. Usually in the morning, maybe it's something wrong. I mean, she wouldn't take this long to call back. See, we tight like that, she's supposed to be mine. So could you please try it one more time? Hey, Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Why she ain't picking up, yo? For some reason, it's like she ain't home. Just wanna get my telephone man. I see something wrong with my line. I jot down my baby's number, but get click every time. Why she ain't picking up, yo? Why she ain't picking up, yo? It's the goal, it's the goal, it's the goal, it's the goal.
Hey, get up on that washer, hit the spin cycle till I come home. The way where I'm at, I'm out here breadwinning, so don't hit my phone. Shoulda never gave you treats like that. You got a sweet tooth and won't leave me alone. And every time I try to get some sleep, I wake up cause you doing me wrong. Sneaking up under covers, used to fight it, but I love it. Hate it that you got me weak, cause now we ruin all these sheets. Like who doing laundry? Ooh, who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Keep playing, think I'm playing. I'ma have you doing them dishes too. Better lick them plates clean, be grateful for this delicious food. Why you want on fours? What you scrubbing floors cause you want some more? But you like it dirty, you is so dirty, you like it dirty. Sneaking up under covers, used to fight it, but I love it. Hate it that you got me weak, cause now we ruin all these sheets. Like who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Sneaking up under covers, used to fight it, but I love it. Hate it that you got me weak, cause now we ruin all these sheets. Like who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? First of all, I was sleeping, and second of all, why you creeping? Third of all up on me, rubbing like conditioner that you be trying to leave in. Relax, love, keep breathing, and I would say keep cleaning, but you like it dirty, you is so dirty, you like it dirty. Sneaking up under covers, used to fight it, but I love it. Hate it that you got me weak, cause now we ruin all these sheets. Like who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Get up on that washer, hit the spin cycle till I come home. The way where I'm at, I'm out here breadwinning, so don't hit my phone. Shoulda never gave you treats like that. You got a sweet tooth and won't leave me alone. And every time I try to get some sleep, I wake up cause you doing me wrong. Sneaking up under covers, used to fight it, but I love it. Hate it that you got me weak, cause now we ruin all these sheets. Like who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Sneaking up under covers, used to fight it, but I love it. Hate it that you got me weak, cause now we ruin all these sheets. Like who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Sneaking up under covers, yeah. You like it dirty, you are so dirty, you like it dirty, yeah? Under covers, yeah. You like it dirty, you are so dirty, you like it dirty, yeah?
Yeah. Come on.
I see you, Roy Washington, man. What's happening, man?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. They never say it in words, but in deeds wars declare. Justice is gone and the sight's none to spare. Especially the kingdom encased in melanin. But these suckers are weak, kings and queens will ride again. Come on. Slackers with badges, the white sheets and the maggots. Watch them fall as I tag them because I'm better than average. A sharpshooter with words with my eye to the scope. And they escape when I've donned the black cape? Is hell no. I'm a ninja for right, who can vanish from sight. Pick you off in the night, but still the Lord is my light. Perceiving all you see, the truth behind the scenes instead of jumping bandwagon still like says believe in me, cause you're a puppet, no doubt. 45th turned you out. Though I saw your lips moving, no sound came out. So I was sent from the heavenlies, born so you could find me. Swam the scene and stream, took flight during the 90s. Landed in Grace, wrote a verse of hip hop. Got with Jay and found the taste was smooth as butterscotch. We had hood love and money. Problems, they be on me, but we stayed in the flow. It had juice like Manolo.
They can try to oppress, you can try to impress. I'm just after success, none less. You can look in my eyes, you can feel in my vibes. Look king down inside and it's so man, no. I got God on my side, I ain't worried about none. If it ain't about money, then it ain't about none. Laughing at my enemies, I know they see me coming. If it ain't subliminal, they can't even see me. Politics and violent shit, I'm here to raise the consciousness. For every face and race up in this nation trapped in poverty. Diamond in the rough, need to cut, shape it and polish it. Bad thoughts cripple life, we can be an optimist. We can be an optimist, reconstruct apocalypse. Broke people always hating, mix me with that gossiping. Rose up in the concrete, rain and sun, I'm blossoming. My people need to be like kind of Velcro, then we conquer it. They can try to oppress, you can try to impress. I'm just after success, none less. You can look in my eyes, you can feel in my vibes. King down inside and it's so no. I got God on my side, I ain't worried about none. If it ain't about money, then it ain't about none. Laughing at my enemies, I know they see me coming. If it ain't subliminal, they can't even see me coming.
The 45th is a joke, and he's weak in disgust. He plans to divide, but there's no stopping us. If we have to fight, go toe to toe for our lives, we prevail and got sight, cause only light I recite. I blow my lyrics like a shotgun, camouflaged inside the tracks. Now watch the suckers run. I'm moving fast enough, heads up, now here I come. I designed 50 ways to make this murder fun. I spit the lyrical rain that coat the concrete, that give life and take form. Arise and walk the street. Am I the greatest to spit? Feel the spray and we'll see. Let it dry, all the lies and the truth will point to me. Even when surrounded by a million MCs, I'm the one under the sun who's the greatest of these. I got the Holy Ghost juking and tapping while I'm rapping. Sticking and moving like Roy Jones, I'll make it happen. Even animals move when the novelist is rocking. My doggy started barking, his ears just a-flopping. Subliminally, I penetrate camps like an enemy. Flicking the lights, cancel sight, cause you're not seeing me.
They can try to oppress, you can try to impress. I'm just after success, none less. You can look in my eyes, you can feel in my vibes. Live a king down inside and it's so no. I got God on my side, I ain't worried about none. If it ain't about money, then it ain't about none. Laughing at my enemies, I know they see me coming. If it ain't subliminal, they can't even see me coming.
I get that feeling under me time, and I'm okay on land or out at sea. So cup the headed in the daytime. Promise you'll keep sunshine on my feet. Somebody pinch me, this is juicy, juicy. Squeeze out this warm glow on my cheek. Sweet dreams, hold me, don't let go. Sing through the day. Sweet dreams, please don't tell me lies. Take me by surprise. It's gonna be different now. That's what they say. It's gonna be different how when it's steady pouring rain. We stepping out the mud. Yeah, we on our way. We stepping out the mud. We gon' be okay. Ain't got to live in dirt. I walk through, walk through. Ain't got to deal with what I won't do, won't do. We stepping out the mud. Yeah, we on our way. Worm your way up out the mud. We gon' be okay. Ain't gon' do me dirty, you gon' do me right, right. Give me all the sunshine I need in my life, life. Ain't gon' do me dirty, you gon' do me right, right. Give me all the sunshine I need in my life. I get the feeling under moonlight. Put a little two-step to my beat. I should be dancing cause it feels right. Shake it, shake it, shake it with the breeze. Now once again, will give me two dice, two dice. I feel so lucky, can't you see? Sweet dreams, hold me, don't let go. Sing through the day. Sweet dreams, please don't tell me lies. Take me by surprise. It's gonna be different now. That's what they say. It's gonna be different how when it's steady pouring rain. We stepping out the mud. Yeah, we on our way. We stepping out the
Welcome back, and thanks so much for joining us tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight, we had a guest on, but he actually got into a car accident this afternoon, so he couldn't make it. So we have Mr. Jim Morris from Scotland, and we also have Mr. Dennis Dyke from Toronto. You guys, welcome back, and thanks so much for calling in.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks for being here.
I hate that people can't hear what we're talking about on break, because that's when some of the best stuff is talked about. So could you guys kind of rewind and start again where you're talking about the UFO stuff that's been going on?
Yeah, Dennis was going to ask me a question. Go ahead, Dennis.
No, I just wanted to ask you a question, whether or not you feel as though that you were abducted before.
That I can't say because I can tell you that I've had 3 experiences in my life, and the third one I forgot all about. Was my baby sister. She's 57, Dennis. My baby sister, and she said, "Did we see a UFO when we were small?" I said, "Yeah, we did," and it's only when she mentioned that this beautiful mother of pearl object came flying across. We were 500 feet.
How old was she? How old was she? Sorry, Jim.
I was about 12, and she's 3 years younger. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this beautiful, where we lived was about 400 feet above the River Clyde. To an upriver is Glasgow. That time was a seaport. Downriver was the Firth of Clyde, where the convoys assembled during the war. So this thing appeared, and it's beautiful, beautiful mother of pearl, and just flashed right across our eyes. I forgot all about that until she mentioned it. And I said to myself, well, what happened there? Why was it I only remembered that when my sister mentioned it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the first. There was 2 more. One happened in 1964, but at that time, 1964, Glasgow Airport was Royal Naval Air Station, Abbotssinch, and they were experimenting with all the crap they got back from Germany and flying out there. But the third one, Dennis, this was 1980. My elder brother and I were visiting the old folks where they stayed, where I was telling you about, up in this high place. And we took the old dog out for a walk. And so we walked down this towards a power station, substation. Nice grassy plank, nice place. And I looked to my left to where the convoys were assembling. I see this blob coming towards us. And walk on a bit further, and I said to my elder brother, I said, "Neil, this aircraft is coming closer to us. I don't hear any engine noise." And Neil told me, he says, "Yeah, you're right. But this time there was this thing right over the top of us. And I could only describe it as a giant jellyfish. No tendrils. But when you saw the periphery of it, you could see it. Yeah, you see it was undulating. This was not a weather balloon, Dennis. This is 1980.
Yeah, I understand. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we didn't have weather satellites. We had weather ships with all Castle-class destroyers. The Royal Canadian Navy built for us, and they were weather ships, and they took up station in the North Atlantic Ocean. I spoke to men who were asked to volunteer for that. He said, "You need to be arranged to be out of the North Atlantic Ocean any day or night. You know, it's awful."
No, it's all fucked up, man. Sorry.
Yeah.
So use that word again.
You see these balloons come in. They were triangular, box-shaped. You had strings of weather balloons tied together. But this thing was not a weather balloon. because the prevailing one was coming downwind. It was coming towards us. It was coming down the River Clyde from Glasgow. And it turned to its left against the prevailing wind. And I said to him, Neil, this thing has changed course. It's gone over Dumbarton. And that's where it headed, anciently over town of Dumbarton, which is the thing about 5,000 years old. They had a fortification there, don't know how long. But that's all it was. I can only tell you, Dennis, and my brother confirmed it was like a giant jellyfish without tendrils. Now they'll tell you, well, what colour was it? Well, it was dark purple, and then it became pale purple as it went out towards its ends. A weather balloon? No, it wasn't a weather balloon. Why? Well, we know that ultraviolet radiation turns plastic or polythene or mylar or whatever. It turns it purple with the passage of time. That's okay, fine. But how can this thing going against the wind change direction? Nah, don't accept it. It was never a weather balloon. And then when straight over the old town of Dumbarton, it was gone, Dennis. Gone. Just when that.
Yeah.
So what was it? I have no idea.
Yeah.
No idea. I can only tell you what I saw. And my brother saw.
Well, as far as like COVID goes, one of the things that I wanted to bring up is the increase in paranormal activity as well as UFO. And I don't know if it's the fact that people were on lockdown at home and seeing things they generally wouldn't, because generally they'd be at work or whatnot. And they see not only a few, but fleets. For us, they're saying stay indoors, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go out in my yard. I don't have neighbors right next to me. But I was out there and Lily's like, Mom, look. And I had seen it and I saw this really white twinkling light and I thought it could have been an airplane, but it was really, really low. And she said, Mom, there's like 3 twinkling lights over there. Well, at the same time, Nova was in the same area as these lights were. She was about 9 blocks away. And she said right above her and her friends, a bunch of teenagers, there were these really white, brilliant lights. And they were in a triangle formation. Then they started shooting in the triangle formation, and then all of a sudden they stopped and then shut off immediately. But I've seen so many intriguing things. Fleets coming into our atmosphere, different orb-looking ones, and different colors. It just makes you wonder, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, it's the body. Yeah, the brain's defensive mechanism is to protect you and I. That's it. That's what it does.
You know what?
So under a threat, I think the brain kicks in things that you couldn't see them before, but now you can because this is a threat, and that's it's natural to defend yourself, defend your family. But so many people have said the same thing. Yeah, I don't believe in UFOs, Jim. I don't believe they exist, but I'm only telling you now what I saw. Fine, I understand that, you know.
No, but Jim, I appreciate that. I respect. There are things that sometimes you have questions that can't really not answered, so you just go on. Yeah, I've had a few encounters too that I found very odd myself. What that I wake up with blood all over my floor and stuff. But there's no blood on my clothes, no blood on my sheets, no blood on my pillows, no blood on my face, ears, eyes, nose, mouth. But there's blood there. And pools of blood. And my windows are closed, my door closed, everything's shut. It's like, where'd this blood come from?
Yeah.
You know? And I had a few people look me over. It's like, what is this? I was one step short of getting that blood tested. Where did freaking damn come from?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah.
God. I still wish I would have tested
it. Makes you wonder, but I haven't had any memories as far as being abducted. my first experience seeing them. I always believed due to my dad, but I had never seen them until 2012. And then that was the year I was pregnant with my son, and I had my son, and he was born with 6 fingers on his right hand. I know polydactyly is really common.
I was born
But
6 fingers. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, and it makes me wonder, is this related? I know it's common that this does happen, but my UFO experiences never happened until I was pregnant with him. And then, like I've told our listeners before, when I was doing security, I'd call the kids at night and say my good nights, and they'd tell me about their dreams the night before, so on and so forth. And, Lily told me that her and her brother went on this UFO, which is out here about 5 to 8 feet from where I'm at, behind this tree. And she said her and her brother went on there, and then Floyd jumped off, so she jumped off, and they were running. And she said, and then Floyd tripped, and that's when he said, I didn't trip, you tripped. And oh, there's an echo, I can hear my voice. But they had a shared experience. It wasn't just a dream for one individual. They both had it going on. So I think it was aliens. But like I said, I have no memory of being abducted, but they talk about different things. And then I haven't seen UFOs since I was pregnant with my son, and it's just kind of interesting.
Okay,
Have I been abducted?
See, this is what I got a question, Tessa, with you. With your dream time, you remember your dreams, correct? Right?
I used to vividly, and then I'd remember them when I woke up, and then after a while it goes away. But the way the dream realm has been for the last, I don't know how many months, it's like I can't even rest. They're so vivid, so real, and they're generally not nice. I think it's kind of preparing us that are meant to be here in the end to be stronger. I don't know if that's what it is, like some sort of spiritual boot camp or something. But it makes me wonder, like, why are our dream things fucked up? Everybody's is, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
The sleep system, the dream system, everything is different and more, I don't know. It just seems like
more pronounced, more vivid, like you mentioned, right? And I got something to say about that. Okay, guys. Again, we're going through a pandemic, and again, this is human consciousness, the collective human consciousness that we are. We're humans, right? And we hold energy, conscious energy. And when everybody gets pent up, anxiety, doubt, fear, all of these things, and it collects, like in an energetic manner. And if you're not so quite grounded or focused or whatnot, you're more susceptible, I feel, to these energies, and so it becomes compounded. All right, okay. So you'll get hit more. Now, okay, this is why I'm asking you, Tessa, and that's why I asked you to, Jim, as well, is what you're dreaming in dream time, because my dreams, I've always vividly dreamed and lucid, whatever, and I've seen so much, man. And when I talk to you, it's putting everything together, and this is what it is, right? You're picking up everything, and it goes into your subconscious, and then it gets relayed into your consciousness, and it's played out in your dreams.
Yeah,
this is what's going on.
I think what I said, Derek. Myself and my baby sister, we told you we saw this beautiful orb.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's always it's not something that's just imagined. It happened. We know it happened because I know all about it until she told me about it.
What color was it?
It's mother of pearl, Tessa. Beautiful, man. It wasn't pulsating light. It was just beautiful and bright, and it flew right across.
Because the ones we saw, me and Nova and Lily together, like she saw the 3 orbs. I just saw this white blinking light, and Nova said it was this really white, brilliant light, like 3 of them, kind of like the heavens shining through or something. But when I saw an orb, it was always like an orangish reddish color. And the closer, when I saw it in my backyard, It looked like liquid fire. It was red and orange and yellow, moving in a clockwise fashion in this orb.
Yeah, as I said before, when my friend Bill saw these things, these three orbs on the island that was
I gotta ask you. Okay, here I go.
This was different. The beautiful orb was mother of pearl. That's the only way I can describe it. It wasn't flashing or pulsing. It was just beautiful. This beautiful white light passed across our vision. And I forgot all about that until my sister told me all about it. And then I remembered it. She didn't. Did we see a UFO, Jim, when we were small? I said,
right.
Yes, did. And that was where she didn't tell it was mother of pearl, it was beautiful, traveling, whatever. That was all and it kicked in. These things stay in our memory.
I gotta ask you a question, Jim.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right, because you don't do the UFO thing. But I gotta ask you this question: when you see these orbs, could they possibly be like a spirit, like a soul being that is like kind of in between? Right. I'm just asking Jim. Could they be like entities, like they're souls?
And Jim is totally into the UFO thing, so I don't know even where that came from. Like, Jim is totally into the UFO thing. Like, if you want to ask anybody about UFOs, ask Jim. Go ahead, Jim.
All right.
Okay, Dennis.
Spirit beings.
Yeah,
These are entities.
I mean, Dennis, of course it could, because when you're dealing in conjecture, reasonable conjecture, anything is possible, because we simply don't know. People see objects or phenomena they don't understand. What is it? Is it a machine? Is it coming from a planet Zog or whatever? And of course it could be spirits. But I was asked this question, what would you define as a spirit? Okay, let's face it, you could have good spirits. I have no friends who are clairvoyants and what spiritualists and whatnot. You have good spirits and you have bad spirits. Okay, you have bad spirits. So how do you define which is good?
Yeah, it's hard to discern. It's hard to discern, Jim. And they call 4D negative energies, right? But there are 4D positive energies that happen to be just like humans. There are some 4Ds that don't want to be where they are. They just don't want to be where they are. Some people call them reptilians, whatever like that. Fuck, I don't care. You're part of a population or whatever that you don't want to be a part of. So you're still not of this world. Like everybody that's negative, like from all these people judge. But,
yeah, I hate that. That's why I don't go to church. But it's not hard to discern. It's hard to not be fooled. Like, you can discern between right and wrong, but there are other factors out there that want to convince you of a different way or a different direction or whatnot. It's not that it's hard to discern unless you doubt your gut instinct.
Well, it is difficult.
It's easy to be fooled, which, I don't know.
It is.
I'm pretty hard-headed.
It is easy to be fooled. No, I know. Like, again, 4D neg energies, if you want to call it that, whatever. They always try to get on me, and I call them doppelgangers or shapeshifters, right? And they'll pose themselves as something that they think where they can get close to my energy. Yeah, you. Right.
In my house, it's been me, but then my 16-year-old, she's been seen too as a doppelganger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This house is a lot of fun. That's why I don't go nowhere. I might miss out.
You don't have to.
Robert White has joined us, Tessa.
Hello, Robert. All right.
I don't hear you, Robert.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Now we hear.
I'm using the little laptop because the main computer's turned off because of the thunderstorm outside.
Yeah.
So I'm not plugged in.
I'm jealous. I wish I had a thunderstorm. I need some moisture
No kidding, right?
and thunder and lightning. I love it.
I know.
No,
it
the
releases
third
a
one
lot.
for today.
Ooh.
Nice.
Well,
No,
could
no,
you
I'm
share?
Yeah, I wish I could.
I'm jealous.
Please do.
It rained 5 days here straight, and we only had 1 day of thunder and lightning. So
I
yeah,
miss
I'm
that. I
jealous.
haven't had that in years. Like, I used to hate it. Like, man, is it ever going to stop raining? But I really do miss it. And so does the nature around me. They're all trying to hang in there, but they're getting all crusty.
Yeah.
But welcome, Robert,
Thank you.
to the party. We're talking about COVID, like the way, like, what are we doing with the COVID?
Okay, so we went from COVID to paranormal uprisings as well as UFO sightings.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Okay, sorry.
I said there was
Yeah,
no
we're catching
timeline,
up
but I
to
kind of built
speed.
one along the way. I'm crafty like that.
All right. Yeah, you're sneaky.
Yeah, crafty. There's a difference.
So, crafty, conniving. That's another.
No, crafty. I'm conniving. Dennis, you've met me. You can't say that about me. Come on. Really?
You don't want to
Fucking
have crafty
conniving.
in any name because that's just can't remember
No,
a
crafty. I can make something out of anything, you know, and build my
you're a
ladder or
conjurer.
my way out or
Sorry.
whatever, you know.
Conjure. Okay, you conjure.
Okay, that's
you
better
conjure.
than conniving. Holy shit, tards.
Okay.
conjurer, not conjurer.
My heart hurts now. I'm gonna have to repair with the little monster.
Anyway.
Okay, so Robert, have you noticed an upsweep in paranormal activity or UFO sightings? Or weather phenomena?
That's where we are.
Not a whole lot down this way, no. But
How about
I
your
haven't really
dreams?
been
We're
out.
talking about our dreams. How are your
Yes.
dreams going?
Are you sleeping well? Are you working through your sleep? Like for me, I work all day,
Yeah.
and I go to sleep and I work all night, and then I wake up and I work all day, and I'm like, okay, where's the rest period?
I usually
Yeah,
only
see-
get that
Yeah, see,
in
Robert.
2-hour
Robert.
blocks. So,
Yeah, Robert.
like, yeah.
A lot of my psychic friends and everybody like that, they're asking me, how, they're all messed up with their dream time, like Tessa was just mentioning.
Yep.
So, yeah, sorry, you were saying, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're right. Yeah, I get usually 2 hour, like in blocks of 2 hours of sleep a night. So I'll go to sleep probably about between 11 and 12, wake up between 1 and 2, go back to sleep till about 4-ish, then 6-ish, then 8, and I'm usually up by then. So
It's all broken up. It's all broken.
Uh-huh.
Get it straight.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's for me too. Mine's been broken up, and once it's broken, you sleep longer during periods. Like you plan on getting up at this certain time, but that's 3 hours later because you were woken up several different times. So you go back into that realm sleep, even though it says it takes so much time. I think we're all on our certain schedules. So like I'll go back into the dream realm, and then I'm awake again after an hour or 2 hours or whatnot.
Yeah.
It's so tiring. It's unnatural.
Yeah.
Here
Yeah, I
at
know.
2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm sitting here and the eyes are going, and you say, I've got to stay awake. And of course, you force yourself to try, and you can't. The brain is saying, you got to go and lie down. Yeah, and that's what you do. And then that's it. You're out for 2 or 3 hours, and then you get back up again. You've got no control over your sleep pattern at all. Everybody, it's dark. What time is it? 10 p.m., 11 p.m. Fine. I'm off to bed. You go to sleep. I go to bed at 11 p.m. I'm back up at 2:00 in the morning, and I can't get back to sleep. You can't get back to sleep. So it's
I went
whole
through that
thing is-
too.
Yeah.
I went
Go
from
ahead,
that to
Tess.
going back into the being able to sleep through anything again. Like, it takes a period of time to get back to sleep, but before you wake me up, I'm awake. Before that, it was like I could sleep through anything. Wake up for a minute, go back to sleep. And then it was a trial of once you wake me up, I can't get back to sleep, so I'm pretty perturbed or pissed off, whatever you want to call it. And then I went back into the, I don't know if it was because of my grandpa's, death and funeral, so on and so forth, and hauling tons of dirt by wheelbarrow and shovel, or what's going on with all of the alignments. There's so many different planetary alignments that have been happening repeatedly to where we get different downloads, so on and so forth. And like I said, it's like sleep is work. Even though I'm sleeping, I'm still working. And I've only had a couple times of peaceful rest where you feel like you're repowering, but otherwise it's just work, work, work. It's like spiritual training, like I said before.
Tessa, just want to point out something. What you were describing about your grandpa's funeral, that's an ancient Scottish custom. You bury your own. And if you can't do it, then it's acceptable to get somebody else to do it on your behalf. But that's what they do up here. If a friend of mine died, passed away, and I was invited to participate in his funeral, and I helped dig his grave and fill it in. That's ancient. We're not talking about a couple of 100 years ago. We're talking about like a way back, even before the Celts. That's what they were done. And that's what happens. I mean, something goes on, it wakes you up, you're dreaming about something. What was your whatever? The brain picks it and it starts to send information, which may or may not be actual, but the brain's sending what is recorded. What was it that gentleman said? Dennis would know, he's into computers and so is Robert. The human brain is about 500 times more powerful and the most powerful CPU that's ever been developed. There's only 1/4 of it in use. So if we could somehow invoke this 3/4 of the brain intelligence that we can't access, we wouldn't be going to Moon or Mars. We'd be going to the next galaxy. That's the thing. But you try and understand your own thoughts, and you can't, because it could be anything at all. Something that's upset you in the past gets regurgitated. Something in the present that you're struggling over, and it goes on and it goes on and on. The main thing is that people are out not just to defend themselves, but to defend their families, their offspring, their children. And that's what gears everybody, or at least it used to. But when you look at the media, the way you're getting all this crap, it's me, me, me. I'm more important than everybody else. Of course I'm not.
I hate that, and it's like, hey, I can't bear my cross, so would you do it? Like, I see so many people having people do their jobs, and it's like they're making people bear their cross, and it's just like, to me, disgusting and ridiculous. It really pisses me off. I'm like, can you not carry your own weight? You got to make other people do it. But we, in this time especially, need to bear our own cross, like do our own work. It's really a time of reckoning for sure. Like, this is where we need to wake up and get on track and do what we're supposed to.
Yeah,
it's not going to get any easier. It's going to get worse.
Yeah, because that's the way these people are making it. They're not bringing us closer together, but all these restrictions, safe distance and all this nonsense, they're driving people further apart. I fall down the street with a stroke, right? You have to stay 6 feet back from me before you can't touch me. This is the nonsense that they're coming out with. To drive people further apart, they're not bringing us closer together. But what they forgot about us because of this media, because we're sitting here talking to each other and we know what's going on. Derek's going to tell us what's going on up in Canada. Robert's going to tell us what's going on in Australia.
Well, most of our media is owned by the same people. So we're listening to the same BS from the same people because they have the power of Grayskull or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like, they have all these media outlets that are the same, but they pretend like they clash, but they're really not, because they know people feed into drama, but they're feeding us the same information. That's why it's important to look at other world news. Look around you, see what's going on. Don't just look at your own ultimate media, but look at what's around you in the world.
I know that, Tessa, but if I want to find out what's going up in Bayfield, Colorado, I'm going to get in touch with you. Want to find out what's happening down there in Canada, I'm going to get in touch with Dennis.
That's so true.
I'm going to get in touch with Robert. I'm not going to go to the BBC. I mean, the BBC. Oh, dearie, you think that news media are rubbish. Trust me, you get nothing like it.
Well,
You
that's
got
so true what you said, like keeping in touch with each other, and then you're getting blocked from Facebook, not only from your account, but a secondary one you were using. What the hell is going on?
that's what Martin was saying. He said, this man, he contacted them. He said, this man's been off the internet for 2 months. It's impossible for him to have done any transgression, whatever, in a 2-month period, and yet you banned him off of Facebook.
It's ridiculous.
Said, yeah, I know. They don't want us to talk. That's basically it. Dennis is not going to tell me what's going up there in our beloved Canada. Robert is not allowed to tell us anything at all what's going down there and away down there in the land of Oz. And you're not going to tell me anything what's going on there in good old Colorado. That's what they do. They don't want that. Because what's going on there in Britain, Jim, we're in a piece of shit. That's what we are. They've got no idea. My government has got no idea what they're doing with this COVID-19. You can wear masks. No, you can't. Now you're locked down. No, you're not. You can't go into a store. I'll tell you what, Tessa, this hasn't been heard yet. You might not have heard it back in the States. 450 people turned up in a supermarket in Wales, where the Wales devolved government said they will not only sell certain items of food. 400 people turned up and they went into the store and they ripped off all these plastic covers off all the food stuff. It says you're going to sell. Yeah. And then, of course, two police officers turned up. And this idiot reporter looked at the police officer and said, what are you going to do about this? And these guys, they just looked at him as if it was stupid. And they turned around and they walked away. Yeah, 450, 2 police officers against 450 people. Really, really wild up.
Well, it's like, are they going against people or the number of products they unwrap? I don't know. Because when you do that to product, it's exposing it to the elements. So your product is no longer safe. Now you're eating compromised products. But at the same time, things have gotten really off the hook as far as government and the way people generally are. Here we are with COVID virus and everybody's buying toilet paper. And then other random food items, but it's like everybody's building toilet paper forts because this is not a disease of the lower end. This is a respiratory disease or an immune deficiency.
Yeah, it's not that, Tessa. 150 people turned up in front of the law and said, we are not having this. Mm-hmm. And the law stood back, quite rightly. If I was one of those officers, I'm going to take on 450 people, even if I had a machine gun. Or 450. By the time you pull the trigger, you're going to be surrounded and ripped apart. They're not going to do that. They're there to enforce the law and uphold it as they see it. If they think a serious offence has been committed, and there wasn't, these people went in and simply pulled the plastic covers off all the goods that they were not supposed to sell, and that was it. And nothing more has been heard about it, which is quite right. But the whole thing about this, Tessa, is that people over the entire planet have had a belly full of this nonsense. Mm-hmm. We've been in lockdown in this nonsense for 7 months. What effect has all these strictures and protocols they've forced on us? What effect has it had on this virus? According to them, none. Nothing. It's still rampaging all, if you believe it. Down there in Australia, even most severe strictures are placed on people. What has it done to stop the spread of COVID-19 or SARS-2 or whatever it is? None.
You never know.
Yeah. It's done nothing.
Well, and it's hard to control people unless you go to a severe state, I don't want to get to that state. I want to see, okay, you don't want to wear your mask? Okay, I'll stay extra further away from you. If you do, like, whatever. I remember when it first broke out, and I'm super paranoid at first, and this old lady was just right on me. Like, there wasn't even a foot of distance. She was like basically hugging me, and I was freaked out, and at the same time I felt really bad for this lady. Like, she's had no contact with anybody, and now all contact is being taken away. She's scared, so she's trying to cling to me even though I'm a stranger. She's right up on me, and I wanted to be like, bitch, get off me, you're heavy, or whatever, but I didn't, because I understood that need as a human being to have that contact when everything's basically being ripped away from you.
Yeah. No, she got a hold of you because she wanted somebody.
You said somebody, and then you cut out. I can't hear you. Oh my goodness. I don't know what's happening, but on this note, we'll go to our second musical break. We got Griff from Toronto, Canada with Let Freedom Ring. It's one of my favorite songs that Roy Washington, our musical host, has gifted to me and our show. We also have Tamara Bubble with I'm It, Natural Born Winner. We have Prime Example, which Roy Washington is a member of, with Dancing Machine. And then we have Tamara Bubble again with Ingles. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this musical break. Alright, so on
Okay, yo, here's the scoop. You can still be a slave, you're whipped and loop. That's the truth. Got big houses, nice cars. That's real cute, but that doesn't mean nothing. You ain't free to choose. When I say free to choose, no alarm clock, don't gotta hit the snooze. The world is backwards, I'm so confused. They say freedom of speech, but when you speak your mind, they blow a fuse. Just being honest, common sense and common. It's kind of ironic. My freedom, recently bought it. Now I'm a target. If I do the wrong thing or say the wrong thing, come on, man. Let freedom ring. Yeah. United States become divided states. The world is filled with all kinds of shades, and still resegregate. Parents separate from the children, that's not okay. We should be free to laugh and play. Do it now, before you pass away. Fight for what's right, enough for everybody to get a piece of the pie. Brainwash, social media, full of lies. Go to work, pay bills, then you die. Need a breakaway, guns, get rid of the AKs. Our ancestors paved way since the slave days, but we still hurting. Carry that burden. Stop playing victim. Beat the system. Love is love. It should be shown. Can't grow unless you leave your comfort zone. This I know. I learned all this from the mentorship. Kids don't know what independent is. Take advantage what your parents did. Go against the grid. You have to. Like going to the bathroom. Learn the right songs. Cause of Matthew. Liberty like statue. They call now the present. Cause it's a gift. It should be cherished. Last name fearless. Not Harris. All thanks to my parents' parents. Now, love the last name every time that I hear it. Cause I know what it represents. Climb the fence. So now I got freedom. Such a beautiful thing. Freedom. Such a wonderful thing. Freedom. Such a beautiful thing. Freedom. Such a wonderful thing.
it, breathing it. Saying it, doing it, running it, Bentley. I'm a natural winner. I'm the one that you invite to meet your parents for dinner. Cause I can take a couple L's and I'ma bounce right back. Just so you and all your friends can hit the bounce like that. Cause I'm seeing it, loving it, feeling it, breathing it. Saying it, doing it, running it, Bentley. I'm a natural winner. I'm the one that you invite to meet your parents for dinner. Cause I can take a couple L's and I'ma bounce right back. Just so you and all your friends can hit the bounce like that. Cause I your favorite rapper. And I ain't in a suit, but I'm looking dapper. When I ain't in the booth, yeah, I'm still gon' snap it. Homie, you ain't gotta lie, cause it's the truth we after. And I'm without the beef for the clout. I'm the one you shouldn't believe the rumors about. Spitting and giving you brain tumors and Zuma lessons. Mover and a shaker with the flow soon as I pop you toes. If you had any ego or ego, let go. If you had any doubt about me, just know I'm pleasing to the ears and the eyes and the throat. And I ain't giving you no more detail till we talk pillow. I ain't nowhere close to my greatness. I don't do all that boasting, just make hits. Yo, I don't do all that posting, naked pics for likes, and I ain't make this up, I can't fake this. Seeing it, loving it, feeling it, breathing it. Saying it, doing it, running it, Bentley. I'm a natural winner. I'm the one that you invite to meet your parents for dinner. Cause I can take a couple L's and I'ma bounce right back. Just so you and all your friends can hit the bounce like that. Cause I'm seeing it, loving it, feeling it, breathing it. Saying it, doing it, running it, Bentley. I'm a natural winner. I'm the one that you invite to meet your parents for dinner. Cause I can take a couple L's and I'ma bounce right back. Just so you and all your friends can hit the bounce like that. Cause I'm a lover and a fighter and a giver and a pleasure and pain and boss deliver it out. Yet I make this look real easy. Everybody hate Chris, but I'ma win like breezy. But I started later on the way to the top and can't stop, so don't push not one button on this elevator. They try to push my buttons to start levitating, rise above it all. I can tell that you fake when you're shaking my hand, and the smile on your face shows me even you're greeting and meeting and love is hating. I'm actually amazing, but modestly saying I ain't waiting for cosigns or playlists, cause I ain't nowhere close to my greatness. I don't do all that boasting, just make hits. Yo, I don't do all that posting, naked pics for likes, and I ain't make this up, I can't fake this. Seeing it, loving it, feeling it, breathing it. Saying it, doing it, running it, Bentley. I'm a natural winner. I'm the one that you invite to meet your parents for dinner. Cause I can take a couple L's and I'ma bounce right back. Just so you and all your friends can hit the bounce like that. Cause I'm seeing it, loving it, feeling it, breathing it. Saying it, doing it, running it, Bentley. I'm a natural winner. I'm the one that you invite to meet your parents for dinner. Cause I can take a couple L's and I'ma bounce right back. Just so you and all your friends can hit the bounce like that. Cause I'm the one you gon' call when you're lonely. I'm the new girl on the block, you gon' show off to your homies. I'm telling you now, we gon' vibe in the booth. How you crave another feature like I'm your sweet tooth. All my people wanna see me shine, but I don't pray for you to fall, cause I don't play with karma. When I slide through, it's gon' be bad timing. Like, watch out, little homie, watch out. I'm
little mama, can we be friends? I can't let this night just end. I really wanna know if I can see you again. Give me your number, we'll get back on the scene. We can hit another club if that's your thing. We'll be partners in crime, you and me, as we ripping up floors like two dancing machines.
Like
Pringles in the can, all the money really got me dancing. Pringles in the whip, I be stacking them chips like Pringles in the can, all the money really got me dancing. Big baby money grip, I be stacking them chips. Pringles in the can, all the money really got me dancing. Pringles in the whip, I be stacking them chips like Pringles in the can, all the money really got me dancing. Big baby money grip, I be stacking them. I ain't never been afraid of a strange beat. New track from the crates, but the same me. Lights on, bills paid, bring the same heat. Couldn't picture me spend the same unless you bring me. Low key, humble brag, never change me. New money coming in, the bank's changing. The quarters to dollars to checks every hour. That money come in when I sleep or I shower. That's motivation, that dedication. I can see my dreams, I'm already chasing. That bezel clean, to watch me embrace it. I'm a single girl, but already taken like a stick-up kid. They already shaking. No Harlem, Brooklyn, being known for break-ins. Bubble on deck, being known for caking. Stacking and saving that move up out the hood money. This that, we been eating good money. This that, really wish you would, homie. This that, see you laughing but broken funny. So get up out the hood, homie. Ain't no rentals over here, dummy. And no, they don't really think that we own it. Who we been poppin', look on. Love the money, but the money live a long time it on. Yeah, them bills, so got the money with my own ground. That move up out the hood money. This that, we been eating good money. This that, really wish you would, homie. Who we been poppin' like Pringles in the can, all the money really got me dancing. Pringles in the whip, I be stacking them chips like Pringles in the can, all the money really got me dancing. Big baby money grip, I be stacking them chips. Pringles in the can, all the money really got me dancing. Pringles in the whip, I be stacking them chips like Pringles in the can, all the money really got me dancing. Big baby money grip, I be stacking them. I ain't never been afraid of investing. I'm talking more than dice games and I'm scratch offs. Lottery jackpots and hundreds of millions. So who you think they making money on the backs of? Ain't no gambling today. Ain't no gambling with my money that I built up. Got my money strong and my money long. My money song. Not one business but no business. Natural growth, I mean no business. New growth like my natural hair. Yeah, I'm 10 toes down in the show business. Like back up off, man. Ain't no move around dope business. Bring the track up with the tracks out in the booth. Way steady running your mind, talking this and that. But it's that move up out the hood money. This that we been eating good money. This that really wish you would, homie. This that see you laughing but broken funny. So get up out the hood, homie. Ain't no rentals over here, dummy. And no, they don't really think that we own it. Who we been poppin', look on. Love the money, but the money live a long time it on. Yeah, them bills, so got the money with my own ground. That move up out the hood money. This that we been eating good money. This that really wish you would, homie. Who we been poppin' like Pringles in the can, all the money really got me dancing. Pringles in the whip, I be stacking them chips like Pringles in the can, all the money really got me dancing. Big baby money grip, I be stacking them chips.
Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight we're doing a call-in show because, unfortunately, our guest, Mr. Jim Kelly, the paranormal photographer, was an accident, and we're sending all of our love and light, positive energy, and healing energies to him, and hoping that he can come back in November. But on the line we have Mr. Jim Morris from the UK, we have Dennis Dyke from Toronto, Canada, and then we have Mr. Robert White from Australia. Welcome, you guys, and thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Always
love being here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I keep hearing my voice in the background. It reminds me of Charlie Brown, like.
We're not your teacher.
Yeah.
We're not your teacher.
Okay, so Borat came up as a subject, and I remember back when it came out, I loved doing impressions, and so High Five and other things I was doing even during a poker game. But this particular actor came out and was talking about racism, even Islamicism, to where people are making fun of certain religions and backgrounds, so on and so forth, and that's what he was doing, and so many people fed into it. But the speech that he gave, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to look it up, but it was amazing. It really was eye-opening, and I love when actors come out and speak against what the higher power or machine is trying to put forth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very cutting edge. I heard a review on his movie from one guy. He said it's very highbrow and lowbrow at the same time. It's very mixed, right? So he's right down to the curb and right up to the like caviar, right? But he hits hard.
He is so intelligent and funny. Like, I really did enjoy what he did, but I'm hoping this is what Sacha Baron had given a speech on, because it was so intellectual and so appropriate. But
okay, you know what? Okay, guys. Okay, George Carlin. See this Sacha Baron guy.
George Carlin,
like
original hard ass.
Was awesome, man.
Yeah, amazing.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. He took politics straight to their face, right into the audience, right? He didn't care. Right? He just said it straight up, man. Oh, yeah. And, of course, we all know the 7 words can't say on television. Shit, piss, motherfucker, cunt. Or, no, shit, piss, motherfucker. What?
Fuck, bitch, cunt.
Shit, piss, motherfucker.
You can say ass.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
Can you say ass now?
Well,
they still don't say fuck on TV.
No, they say bitch and they say shit and damn and all that other stuff.
Anyway, it's jokes. Jokes. So are you going to throw candy at people as you walk by your house?
Well, we were talking about, and we decided on a potato cannon. So you can put the candy in a potato cannon and shoot it at kids. So that they stay at least like 20 to 25 feet away. And then that way we don't get infected. You know, when we got a no trespassing sign up to protect ourselves. I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. We were thinking about, like you said, Dennis, like you suggested, Dennis, doing kind of like an Easter egg hunt in the yard with little Halloween treat bags that they can find instead of going trick-or-treating. When the kids were like, so Mom, what's happening for Halloween? And I'm like, I'm sorry, kids, Halloween has been canceled. We don't get to have any fun. And it was just total meltdown and breakdown. And I'm like, it's okay, we'll still have fun. Like, we can make our own fun. It's not like knocking on people's doors and such, but we can do something. I might have an after party that night, or we can have an after party with the kids. I don't know what we're gonna do.
No, but it's cool because you tell the kids there's one special top prize, the king prize. It's worth $10. You tell them, and everything else like worth 5 or 2 or a few dimes or whatever. And they go running around the house, running around the backyard, looking for that $10 prize. But you know what? There is no $10 prize. You just tell them there's one.
Robert,
that's
Rob,
mean.
That's you can't go about with an M16 It's absolutely forbidden. You will carry, sir, an AK-47, 7.62, 7.63 Russian. And anybody who wants to argue with you, you've got an AK-47. They're going to
You really want to argue?
that wimpy stuff. Wimpy stuff. Come on, you're in Australia. You don't have wimpy stuff. Get that AK-47.
Right? I know I got all kinds of weapons here, but my Tommy gun is actually a pellet gun, but it's still really yeah, but it's a pellet gun, but it's still very scary looking. If somebody were to point that at you, it looks very real, but then pellets come out. It's a little pellet gun going on.
Wimpy stuff. I mean, it's I'm sad. I'm so sad to see that an Australian carries a wimpy firearm, a long arm. You need an AK-47, 7.62 NATO, 7.63 Russian. You got that big 30. You get hit with a 7.62. The only place you're going is down on the ground. You get hit with a 5.56 Remington.
Whoa.
And that's why they were useless in Vietnam. I mean, the guys were firing whole magazines and still couldn't win Viet Cong.
No. It was a total setup. All for titanium and such.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Very sad. Titanium, unobtainium, whatever you want to call it. The people that were out in the jungle were more prepared than the people that were up in the mountains, and I had no idea about any of this shit until I went to Marine Corps training, and they're showing us these videos like relentlessly and monotonously, and I just could not believe like what actually happened during Vietnam. It wasn't about this jungle warfare, so on and so forth. It's what was going on in the mountains where the soldiers are in these really snowy, horrible conditions and trying to get these different metals and minerals out of the mountain. They have no socks or any proper footwear, and these people are dying just like the people that are in this jungle warfare where they're totally set up. There's no way they can win because the way the Vietnamese were set up, they had tunnel systems, all kinds of other stuff going on. It was tragic.
Yeah. Brigadier General Robin Owens, United States Air Force and the Army Air Force, he fought in the Second World War, he fought in Korea, and he fought in Vietnam. And he said, stupid people start wars and stupid people run wars, but they never listen to the people that actually have to fight the wars. And that's the way it is. They never listen to the people that's at the sharp ends. When they tell them, look, this piece of crap that you're giving us, it isn't working. It doesn't make any difference because big money talks. And that's what it's always been.
And bullshit walks. Well, it's sad because, like, over in the war, there's so many people trying to do the right thing, but there's good apples and there's bad apples, and what everybody was hearing was about the child rapists and so on and so forth. And so when people came back thinking they were heroes and they're fighting for freedom, they were being spit upon and basically verbally and physically assaulted. It was pretty sad and ridiculous. We're just pawns in this game of war, and war is always some sort of distraction from what's really going on. Look at this hand while this hand is doing something else. Just like with 9/11.
Yes.
It was all about something else.
Very well mentioned. Very well mentioned, Tessa.
It's very sad. I don't get it, but I'm not meant to because I'm not on that level.
I can't cry over this.
No, I want to, but I'm not going to because I've cried enough tears. Right now, I'm past that point, and I'm really fucking pissed off that this is happening to our people, all of us.
No, Tessa, it's happened. It's happened, and yes, it is happening.
And it's still happening. Look what they're doing to us right now. They're separating us and segregating us and pitting us against each other. And look at what's happening to Jim. They're cutting him off. Every time he tries to come in, even if it's 2 days, they're cutting him off. They're not allowing him to get or send information.
Yeah, it's all bullshit.
It is.
I don't know.
What do we do? Are we going to have a sit-in? Have some sort of resistance? Like, what do? Don't be a sheeple and use your common sense and do what you need to. You don't have to be a part of the flock. Flock
right?
that.
You know what? Like that. What I look at it, I gotta flip out of here in a minute.
Right.
But yeah, it's called collective consciousness. You know, the hive mind or whatever. Like I get friends that you know, like don't like that term or whatever like that. I had never heard of it before until they mentioned it to me. But it's like a positive energy, conscious energy that you put out. That kind of like it's again a ripple, right? Butterfly effect, another fucking damn term. Whatever. In the water and the ripples go through. But yeah, it's eventual. It's not gonna happen overnight. And people are gonna die. That's all I'm gonna say. A lot of people are gonna die. This is not over, man.
Yeah, they already are, and it's for different reasons, but you called in tonight, Dennis, and I'm so grateful that you did notes and stuff. I used to do that, and then it just kind of made things kind of chaotic. But thanks again for being on. It was awesome to hear from you and your perspective and things that are perturbing you at this point. Like, we got a lot of that going on, but, you know, at least we can share in that and kind of comfort each other, I think.
Yeah.
That's what friends are for. We're here to be together. You know, like there's nothing to separate friends. Nothing.
I love that song.
All right. Peace, peace.
Peace, peace.
Take care.
Peace!
We'll talk to you again.
My boss used to say.
Canada. It's too important for us, like Australia and New Zealand. Very, very.
It's insane. Like, you cannot make this shit up.
No. It's because keep you confused, give you all sorts of crap, and you say to yourself, well, look how bad it is down there in Angola. I mean, you think it's bad here in Britain. Just look at what's going on. Yeah, it's always directed towards somebody else that's suffering more than you are, or at least you think you are. You'll never get the truth, regardless of where we live. They're never going to tell you all the truth. They'll just give you a little bit. And then you say to yourself, well, they must know what they're doing because, you know, these are the experts and such. Yeah, of course they don't know what they're doing in a logical sense. But they're following a different agenda. I'm convinced there's a hidden agenda behind all of this, Robert. You know, truly, yeah, and I hate conspiracies, but when you get the man that's in charge of the World Health Organization, who admitted publicly that he deliberately covered up 3 outbreaks of cholera in Ethiopia when he was in charge of what they've got as a health service, basically he lied. This is the same man that called a pandemic when there was only 100,000 people afflicted with this disease. Now, and everybody suddenly, bingo, every country on the planet goes into lockdown because he says so. And nobody ever thought to say, none of the leaders thought to say, well, is this guy right in what he's saying? You know, can we trust what he's saying? I would say, no, you can't believe it. And then he says that face masks don't protect anybody, right?
Well, that's what they said when Trump got it. They're like, okay, so Trump is wearing this face mask, but it's not going to protect anyone around him. And I think that doctor let it slip because before they're like, wear your face mask, wash your hands, so on and so forth. But when Trump got it and he's flying into the White House and it's, you know, this dramatic presentation, this doctor on the line is saying, well, he's wearing a face mask, but it's probably not going to protect everyone.
No,
okay, so you just stuck your foot in your mouth and you're saying the opposite of what you've been saying this whole time.
Yeah, no, it's because his team are going to come up with some reason or some excuse for why he
Well,
did.
then his youngest son got it after he got it. And even his wife got it, you know? They're just sharing.
I mean, you're going to catch it whether you've got a face mask on or not. According to the Centre for Disease Control in Atlanta,
they don't know how it's spread.
They do know how it's spread. It's spread by the breath that you give out. The only thing
So if that's it, then why is the mask not working?
Yeah, they're no use. It's a
My
slave.
my son yesterday was sharing a bike with a neighbor kid, and I'm like, okay, so you do realize that's just like holding hands with this little kid. You're supposed to be staying 6 feet apart because he's riding this bike viciously, sweating on it. Then you're trading bikes off, and then you're doing the same thing. You're basically holding hands with this little kid. Who's to say it's respiratory? Who's to say it's by touch or by sitting in an airplane seat? Like, they have even admitted they have no idea how it's spread, but for the most part, they're saying it's spread by airways.
Of course it is. The Airways is about to go to the wall. Right? The British Airways fly anywhere, whatever. They're about to go to the wall simply because of this. You've got to keep people there. So many. They're going to be sitting 4 seats apart on a bit of. What, I don't know what these big giant planes can carry.
Oh, that'd be nice.
That is 200 people. But they've got to keep them. So out of 200, you're only going to about 75 on. How can you make a profit out of that? Because it costs about £200,000.
Because what they're really doing, Jim, okay, so I had to fly out August 25th because my grandpa was on the edge of life and I wanted to get there to see him, so I flew out same day. He didn't make it before I got, he died before I got there. And the first plane I was happy with as far as distancing. It was very well spaced. When I got on the second plane on American Airlines, sardines in a can. And I was so pissed off when I got to my seat and I was like, well, and I kept the language out of it. Well, I guess I'm sitting between you two instead of you fucking two. Like, I'm sitting between you two. And they're like, oh my. And so the guy next to me was very polite and he was wiping around the area and trying to clean things up. And he was very aware of not touching me. And the other chick was closing the window and doing other things that irritated me. But we were packed in there like sardines. There was no social distancing. And even if there were, you're on an airplane where the air is circulated and you can't wear real gear that does protect you because they're worried about other people being protected. Oh, here, wear this handkerchief or wear this little cotton mask. That doesn't really help. Why did I spend $100 on this stuff that I can't even protect myself? Because you say it's not okay because my air's getting out and their air's not getting in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's happening. It's the airlines are facing massive financial loss, and that again comes back to what I said earlier. Is to stop people communicating with each other. If I want to get down to Australia, the last thing that they want to hear down there is, I'll tell you what, Robert, you think it's bad down here. You come with me on the island of Lewis, brother, and I'll tell you what, I'll show you just how bad. They don't want that. They don't want you communicating with each other. Aircraft, I mean this, I don't mind anybody thinking that I'm an idiot. That's okay. I don't mind that. I probably am. But I'm not as stupid as they want me to be. I mean, right, I'm 72 years old, and I got an awful lot of holes in the body and scars and such. I'm pretty sure the Lord didn't intend to be there, and I'm still here. And all I'm here to do is just to try and advise young people that's younger than me that this is something very wrong here. If it was so bad, you would have receptacles for hazardous materials outside every shop. You come out the shop, Tessa, you take off your face mask, you put it in the hazardous bin. There's none. There's none in Britain. Not in one, Robert, not in one single solitary supermarket outside a railway station, a bus terminal. There's none of these bins here. So why is this so
well, that would be
deadly?
another receptacle to get disease when you're putting your mask in and you're touching the same points that other people did to put their mask in, then you're getting whatever they had, you know? It's just like a catch-22, you know what I mean? It's hard to stay ahead of the point. The bouncing ball.
You take off your mask and you put your foot on the pedal, the lid opens up, you take your mask off and you throw it in. You're not touching anything else, your foot is, unless this disease goes into your feet as well. Oh, nonsense.
Yeah,
I mean,
have you seen the people driving around with their mask on and they're all by themselves? I'm like, what is that
I'm
person
so
doing?
crazy.
And then you hear about these car accidents because people can't breathe and they end up passing out. It's like, why are you doing that in the car by yourself? Maybe they're worried about the air around them. Like this is some sort of environmental thing as far as the whole environment and not just us as people. I don't know. It just perturbs me. I'm like, look at that person driving by himself with a mask on. What the hell's going on there? As soon as I get in the parking lot or in my car, my mask is come down because I love that fresh air. I can't handle having a rebreather on. I'm not a diver. I'm a person.
Yeah, I know. It's because you're exhaling CO2 and at the same time you're inhaling it again, and that affects your immune system. I mean, I had 2 episodes in one of the supermarkets where I'm asking, just it was the manager that says, look, you're going to have to go outside. I'm sorry, I'll need to take this mask off because I can't breathe. There's something wrong. So I went outside, took the mask off, and a couple of minutes I was okay. And the man was waiting on me. He says, right, okay, somebody's going to maybe object to you not wearing a mask. It's okay, I'll come with you. And anybody says anything, that's fine. And then with the CDC, as I said before, the Centre for Disease Control in Atlanta, they warn you that if you wear a mask, one of these little blue ones or blue-green ones that you get, disposable ones, you can only wear that for a very limited amount of time before it has an adverse effect on your system. And then that's when it kicks in. I mean, in a surgery, the theatre staff, they only wear these things for 20 minutes, then they take them off and go over and kick them in the bin, then they put new masks on. Why? Because they're going to start breathing in CO2, and that affects your immune system, affects your ability for just about everything, thinking, cognizance, and movement and whatever. That's what happens. And, you say to yourself, well, why are they not doing this? Telling people in supermarkets, get bins outside there. Every bin has to be a proper authorised bin.
It's like that, and they used to have the arrows like enter this way, exit that way, and we always went in the wrong way, and so on and so forth. So they ended up taking that down. They ended up taking the inside and outside barriers. You can go in and out however you please. People can wear masks or not. Although a lot of places say if you have no mask, you get no service, and I've seen fights happen. But Sandra's saying my friend's daughter has had it for a year but doesn't social distance, and that's how people are. I've even seen videos from the get-go where people have it and they're spitting on their hands and rubbing it on buttons of the elevator or rubbing it on the subway or wherever they can to infect other people because they're so pissed off that they got it. They think everybody else should have it, and that's not how you should be. You should distance yourself and try to protect others, but people are like, well, I got it, who cares? Now you need it too.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I mean, it's, that's just, I don't know. It's the way the whole society's gone, Tessa. It's me, me, me. I'll look after me. What happens to somebody else? Well, that's tough. If they can't handle it, not my fault. But it is. I mean, I hate wearing a mask, but I have friends who get severe health issues. So when I'm there with them and I'm standing, I wear a mask simply out of respect, because even though I don't have it and I'm not going to, I don't give a shit. I really don't want to give it to somebody else. If I've got it, I really don't want to transmit it to anybody else. Because I have friends that, I think I mentioned this to you, Tessa, Valeria and Alex, they live in Moscow district. Now, the Moscow district is about the size of the United Kingdom, okay? That's how big it is. Now, Valeria had to go to another district to get medication for her mother. And because she wanted to go there, she had to get a special pass to go there. And had to get a special permission, and obviously had to pay for it. She wanted to take her friends with her, and they said, no, we're not going. I'm a true daughter of the motherland. I should be able to travel anywhere in the motherland, and should need nobody's permission. So it turned out Valeria went on her own, and she got the medication. But she told me that she, her husband, and her son all had this COVID-19. I think Mooney had it as well. Okay.
I think I had it in February. This is the worst sort of cold I had. And as soon as I felt like I was getting better, as soon as I'd get up to do something, you could feel the lack of oxygen going into your system. You'd feel downtrodden again and have to collapse on the couch or whatever your closest place to land was. And I went through that for well over a month until I felt normal again. But it was hard. It was the worst thing I'd ever gone through. And then COVID-19 came out, and I think it came out before they even said it did. I really do.
Yeah. You said it was terrible. And I mean, it's a young Alex, a typical Russian young man, about 9'6", built like a tank. One of the reasons why you don't want to invade Russia. And you know what I mean? And she said it was terrible, Jim. It really was awful. You couldn't do anything. You don't want to do anything. You just want to sit there and lie down
and breathe.
Goes away. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's I think with all this stuff that they're doing, they're actually making people think that, well, fine, he got it, she got it, but well, I won't get it. And there's no guarantee of a virus. A virus is like a bullet. It doesn't care who you are. It'll kill you just as certain as anything else. Bullet doesn't care who you are. It's going to put you on the ground, and that's a virus. And you can protect yourself from against it. Well, you've got to try at least. How, if it works or not, well, that's up to something else. But I'm more afraid of people just taking common sense and saying, look, well, okay, this is what they're saying, fine. But if I go there to this house party and somebody in there has got this virus, I'm going to get it. And my mum and dad are 75 years old, and my dad's got a heart. I'm going to get back there. And
That'd be selfish of you to do that. And that's the hard part. Not going to certain events to protect those around you. Had you gone out to do that, and you infect your parents, what are you to do but feel guilty?
It's not a case of feeling guilty here amongst my clan, Tessa.
Well, if you went to the party, I don't know.
Tessa, I would be living on borrowed time if I did something like that, because they would come and get me. It's not that, it's to educate them into what you think and what is are two entirely different things, and it's acceptance. Look, you've got other people here, you might be immune to this, okay, but just follow the rules, just stay back, keep the distance, don't mix, because if you're totally immune to the virus, it doesn't matter what it does, it won't affect you, but you're going to go in there and you're going to affect other people, and they don't. It's trying to get this, particularly with students, they want to go to parties and they want to have a good time and so on and so on. Yeah, well, that's fine. We're all young once. But at the same time, this isn't then. They've got to deal with the way things are now. Not what happened 20 years, 30 years ago was happening now. And if they can accept and understand that this disease will kill people with health problems, regardless of their age. I mean, the youngest one has just gone here in Scotland is 24 years old.
Well, we've had 7 and 8 years old perfectly healthy. And like I said earlier, a nursing student worked out every day, had a good diet, was not susceptible. He was a nursing student, went on the front lines, got it, got better, went back to work, and all of a sudden he's paralyzed from the neck down. What the fucking hell is going on? I don't get it. Are you susceptible because you have underlying conditions, or is this thing not prejudiced? It really doesn't care who it affects.
Now, Tessa, the problem I think, and I think Robert will agree, is that they're still struggling to understand this virus, what it can actually do. I mean, there's a boy, 24 years old, dead. By law in Scotland, you can't disclose if he had an underlying health problem. They're struggling to deal with this, and they can't. They're trying to understand what this thing can do, and they don't. Just you said, affected somebody's brain, gets in there and acts on the brain. They can't walk, they can't move. They're going to be on a tube for the rest of their life, and they're really struggling to come to some sort of answer to try and answer people's anxieties. And we're also, look what you're going to do. We don't know. We're trying our best that we can. That's all you can ask of any government. They're trying their best. But when they can come up with a solution, we just have to wait and see. I'm always wary, especially when it likes of Mr. Gates, who has a solution for everything, Robert. You know what I mean? Trust Bill Gates, Robert. He's got an injection for you.
Oh yeah, he's sterilizing countries. He's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, it's insane the way this is affecting us. Even if you get past it, there's so many different degrees of brain damage. I've even had the brain fog going on, to where I have to take this supplement, which is called Brain Health Support 300 milligrams cognizine citicoline per serving. Cognizine citicoline is the main thing, but I take these before I do my show every weekend to get that clarity, because it's like brain fart after brain fart after brain fart. I'm trying to think of words and different things I need to say, and it seems like ever since I was sick last February, I cannot put things together like I used to be able to. I have that brain fog, and it's pretty counterproductive.
Yeah, absolutely. I have the same thing. When I walked past the head, I said, well, I might as well go and have a pee since I'm walking past the place anyway. And that's what happens. You see, you stand there and you rub your head. Why did I come in here? I go into the other bedroom, or the pigsty, as I call it. Why did I come in? What am I looking for? I don't know. I'll go back and sit down and think about it. That's what.
Oh yeah, I had to pee. I forgot.
Yeah. Yeah.
When that should be the first thing. It's like, why did I come in here?
Yeah, but that's the frightening thing about this virus that affects the mental faculties. Is that the faculties?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your reasoning. It affects that, and if that affects it, it affects everything that we do from it on. I want to stand up and go to the cooker and stick on some food. And you can't do that, because you stand up and you're sitting there thinking, why did I stand up? What am I going to do? This is what this thing is doing. And, you know, I can understand why the scientists are actually struggling with this thing, because according to China, where this thing originated, there's over 60 different mutations of this virus. So Robert might get one that's only going to knock him out of the couple of days he's down. You get it and you're going to be out for a week. I get it, I'm going to be out for the rest of my days. It's so different and so difficult to actually come up with a vaccine. This is a virus you can actually kill with soap and water. And you need a vaccine to kill them. You can destroy with soap and water and hot water and soap. You can't blame them for struggling to come up with a remedy. You can't blame the governments, because it's something that popped up out of the blue.
Well, and like I said, it's like the higher powers in control, the puppet masters or whoever, like the higher percentage, people that have the most money. Certain people I have heard are in on this certain project for this certain disease control, and it's not rampant like the Spanish influenza, so on and so forth, but it is still pretty hardcore. And like I said, before it even hit us, it hit Italy, and just to watch it take over that country. For me, it was mind-blowing, and to see what everybody's going through, the way they're moving bodies, the way they're doing last rites, it's pretty irreverent, but at the same time, they're trying to do what they need to do to get this done, even though it's in somewhat of a chaotic and irreverent stance. They're still taking the steps to give the last rites and do the things they need to do to put this soul at rest. It's just mind-blowing to me, and then it moves to us and other places where we're really paying attention. But if you watch Vice, you can see these different things going on back in the day when it was going through Italy. And I think Italy was hit the hardest, which confuses me as far as powers and majority or whatnot. They are not. Like, they're pretty lucid and not really involved in any wars. But here they are being attacked horrendously with this disease.
Yeah, Tessa, when the Black Death hit Europe through Italy, specifically, it landed on the island of Sicily, and then the ships took that over onto the mainland, and Italy was utterly devastated by the Black Death. Florence, in particular, lost 80% of its population. I think it was about 150,000 people, and they lost 80%. Today, there's 4 British student teachers in Florence, and they're in almost permanent lockdown because of the memory of the Black Death. They remember that what happened in the Black Death. 80% of our people were gone, and that's why these guys are still in. And they can only talk to each other on the internet. They can't communicate. They're not allowed to leave their room. They're not allowed to do anything, because they knew way back then, 700 years ago, that this thing was transmitted by people, either by speech, breath.
Do you ever look at that and think of the situation you're in now, how you're being cut off and how they're trying to control you, and how this thing is really actually taking effect? I don't know. Do you think that this vice that they're trying to use against us is working?
Well, it's working because people believe what they're saying is the truth, when it's nothing of the kind.
Yeah.
Of course, people are going to get this, but all the people. In fact, there was a lady. She went head to head with her doctor. Her father died, and she confronted the doctor and said, "You know that my father died from a heart attack. Why have you put COVID-19 on this document? That's illegal, Tessa. You cannot falsify a certificate of death."
Yeah, you can't, but people do. And that's where people are fucking it all up by saying this person died of COVID, when in reality it wasn't. It could be complications due to COVID, like complications due to AIDS. But they're looking at that money. If you do it per person, you get this amount of money.
Well, who's the people that's making the most money out of this? The pharmaceutical companies.
As usual.
Promote all sorts of placebos, and this will do that, and we'll get this will work, and this will work. You need more masks. Now, this mask I've got here, Robert, forget about that one you're using. This is a new Mark 47B, and it'll stop anything except a virus. But I want you to wear it anyway. Yeah.
And who's to say that the trial vaccines that they're using aren't being made to dumb us down and make us more placid?
Yeah, that's what they're doing. And they're all made in China.
Like Jim was saying, fear-mongering. The Japanese or Chinese or whoever are producing these tests that are giving false positives, they're feeding on the fear, just like these negative entities and the paranormal. In real life, these people are feeding off the fear, and it's a very powerful thing. It really is.
Yeah. Of course it is.
It's disgusting.
No, it's built in every man and woman. Protect not just yourself, protect your family. And if you've got a family, that is the most important thing that you're going to go and protect. So what is it we attack? Yeah, break up the... No Christmas, Tessa. I don't want any Christmas trees. And the relatives ain't coming up there from Arkansas. I'm going to get Great Uncle Lee and come up there and root them It's the way he
Well,
did in the Civil War.
it's funny you mentioned Arkansas because I have most of my family there, and my niece is like, oh, COVID, blah, 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 I'm going to travel to Arkansas, and we're going to come visit, and we're going to see waterfalls and ruins, blah, blah, blah. But they weren't taking it seriously until recently. They're like, oh, wow, this stuff is real. And I'm like, yeah. Like, had you been in this scenario when we were, you might take it seriously, but you're ignorant, so you're spreading whatever you have over here and this there, and it's been insane.
It's trying to get across to them that, look, I've got kids here who have vulnerable illnesses. I really want to see you, and I do love you beyond words, but I think it's a really bad time for you to even come here. So I'd rather you just stay where you are.
Yeah.
Stay where you are, and then when this is all gone, then we'll all get together again. And that's the hardest thing, trying to keep family apart. I mean, before all of this, well, no, even before then, Robert, I noticed even with families that drifted apart. I mean, I've got relatives out in the States who've been out there. Robert Morris, who was in charge of the infant United States Treasury in 1776 or 78, he's a relative of ours, and my sister dragged him up through that Ancestry.com. Mm-hmm. And they've been out ever since then. So we'll still keep in touch, and even great Aunt Sophie Augusta in Charleston, South Carolina, who always wanted to whoop them Yankees. Unfortunately, the other side of the family, they fought for the North, so they ended up with great Sophie Augusta's kinfolk get whooped.
Yeah.
But they keep in touch. That's what families do. They keep in touch.
Well, it's hard, too, because, okay, so it first broke out, and my husband, he calls it the clan. He calls his part of the family the clan, which I hate it. And I'm so against, people coming over, especially his great-nephew, going to public school and then coming over here. There's a reason we're keeping our kids out of public school. How does it make sense to let an outsider in? But they do what they do. Well, then my family came out this summer. I believe it was May, which was shortly after the whole outbreak happened. And I could not say no, because it's family. And so I was put in that predicament. So I was kind of getting the idea of where he was coming from. But like Lynn was saying, Arkansas is suddenly a COVID hotspot. Well, that's where my family came from. Oh, COVID ain't nothing. Ain't nothing happening. We're going to travel. We're going to enjoy our lives, blah, blah, blah. And then they come out here and take whatever they get back to their home. Not saying that we're spreading it, but during their travels, stopping at different spots, not wearing masks, they're going to take something home. And now, like Lynn said, Arkansas is now, instead of being dormant, a freaking hotspot.
Yeah. That's what happens. You can only hope that somehow, I think I told you about this carry-on went down in Wales yesterday. The people storming the store and ripping all the plastic covers off. That's okay, fine. What I would rather you did, go and storm Westminster. Get down there and get in the faces of these MPs or whatever your local government authority is. Get in there and say to them, look, listen to us, this isn't right, do something, this isn't right. They don't, and they won't do that. So you remember that carry on with Storm Area 51 where the extraterrestrials were and the space beings and whatnot, and all those people signed up for that. You've got to go and confront people face to face. There's no point in just going on ranting and raving and just going to carry on. You've got to go. That's why you've got a member of parliament. I got in touch with ours, Tessa, as you know, was cut off for 2 months. I got in touch with him. He got in touch with British Telecom and told them what had happened. And 2 days later, I've got the British Telecom van at the White House. What's the next help? That really? Yes, she is.
Yeah, Lily came in and said she's hungry. I'm like, we have 5 minutes, trying to be silent about it, but we do have 5 minutes and 25 seconds. if there's anything else you guys want to say real quick, or how people can contact you, Robert and Jim, to discuss these things that are going on. Like, I feel like these things are quite real instead of being a conspiracy theory. I think they're real, actual conspiracies. There's stuff going on that people are blind to, even if the paranormal or whatever slap somebody in the face. This stuff is really going on. So is there a way that our listeners can contact you, Jim or Robert?
Boot is off of Facebook, so there's no way I can get back. Maybe Robert's maybe still on Facebook. Yes, here she is. Hiya, Lily. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
You can get in touch with me through Facebook or through battleliner@gmail.com. That's basically it, or Skype here. I'm on Skype. I can't remember though. I think it's Paul202 at Hotmail. Skype here.
So Lynn just said, I will be available to appear in costume. Got my decorations set up now as a backdrop. Just need to update Skype this week. But yeah, it's funny, like my husband and I were talking about, which we're generally not on the same plane, but he's like, yeah, I got a potato cannon and I'm thinking about shooting candy at kids with it. And I'm like, good God, like, people are going to be losing their eyes and limbs and shit over this. But it is really crazy that everything's being shut down, and then all of a sudden people are saying it's not going to be shut down, but in reality, next door for the trunk or treat, where a lot of church members would set up their cars and decorate the trunks, and they give out candy to little trick-or-treaters like Lily Boogalicious, they're not doing it. They're afraid. Like you said, Jim, the fear is kind of ruling everything, but I think it's people trying to take precautions and be safe, and I totally understand it. And so when Dennis said, well, do your own little Easter egg candy hunt or whatever with a little treat bag, that's a good idea to entertain your kids and keep the spirit of Halloween. I almost said Christmas, but Halloween alive.
I have heard of a thing that they're doing at a couple of places here. It's called trunk or treat. They park their cars. They have
That's
the
what they
candy in
did
the back
here,
of the cars.
trunk or treat.
Yeah. They do that. If they're too afraid to let people go dazzled, they can then sanitize the cars and clean them for the first time in years.
Right? Clean your trunk from all the DNA debris. Yeah. But it is complicated because that's what they did every year here next door at the LDS, aka Mormon Church, trunk or treat. The kids would go over there and clean up real nice. Instead of going neighborhood to neighborhood, we do trunk or treat. But they're not doing that this year because fear. The fear of people coming along, person after person, and infecting your environment. Even though it's an open area, outdoor area, where you can breathe freely, it's not out quite right. But I want to thank you again, Dennis Dyke, Jim Morris, Robert White, for being our guest and joining us on the air tonight. It was awesome having you on. We are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies.
Yeah. Take care, Tessa. Much hugs. Bye-bye, Lily.
No breathing in viruses.
Bye.
And thank you to all of our friends on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies Facebook, Spreaker, Twitter, Periscope, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you may be listening beyond the Omniverse tonight. I had a wonderful time this evening, and I can't wait to do it again tomorrow night when we have Mr. Bill Hauser on. I was trying to get him to go on this the first or second. This one, I believe, is Deo de la Muerte. So between Halloween and Day of the Dead would have been epic for Ghost Box, but instead we're going to do it on the 25th. Pretty close to this. It's going to be awesome. So you guys, don't forget, we're all in this together. Together we can make the world a little better, and together, my friends, we are Paradox Media, because without you, there is no us. If you would like to join us on the Skype after party, look me up at Tessa.N. Thomas 30 or give us a jingle at 970-335-9596. Until next time, nighty night, love and light, have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I will see you back here, same time, same place.